Open your mind. Your mind. Your mind. Your mind.
Let me see the fucking. Where's he at?
Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power.
And so a community is where you control your police, you control your commerce, you control your education, you control your house. We don't control none of that. We live in a hood. Huh? Well, what about the Negroes that get out? Oh, well, see, my cousin, they say he's a multi-millionaire, almost got $1 billion.
The popular thought city.
3 PhDs, working on 2 more. Driving down the street in Chicago in his Rolls Royce, enjoying himself, and he hears these sirens and looks through the mirror and sees this cop car flashing lights. He squeezed the steering wheel, man. Heart beats fast. Because he knows the price of a Negro, what it could be. And then when that cop car passed him by, he said, thank God he wasn't after you in the first place, Paul. That Negro thing you can't get away from. It's universal. They wasn't coming after you with all your millions, with your Rolls Royce, with your PhD, didn't help. That's the hood. Huh? Why do you think you never pick up a paper till you read over and over and see white families? You think it's thousands of black cops in America. Why don't you see white families crying as black cops shot my loved one 40 times in the back of the head? Why do you think black cops are that? You think they're more spiritual? Think they're better? No! They got enough sense to know that white folks ain't gonna tolerate it. And I will stop in our neighborhood when we decide we will not tolerate it. Now, if we was organized, which is hard to organize people who are just gonna run crazy and you don't know you're crazy. But if we were, with the money we have, and the many people who would come to our aid that don't know what it's like to be a Negro, and we said, if we said, look, we saying, if we don't get a federal law to deal with police brutality, that anytime a cop or anybody carry a gun, have to have a license just like you used to drive a car. And if you use it wrong, then you lose your license. And if it's upheld, you can never work again as a cop or a store guard or a private detective. How do you get Congress to push that through? Well, you take your economic power and you call on your friends, black, white, young and old, and say, this coming Christmas, if we don't have a federal law to outlaw police brutality by law, then we call them for a nationwide boycott of Christmas and it'll start on Thanksgiving. Well, let me tell you what that means. 79% of all retail in America happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas. People stay in business all year, lose money just for Christmas, huh? Well, what happens now? Sack Fifth Avenue, Toys R Us, Sears and Roebuck, Weston House. They will get the bill, and all they got to do is make one phone call and say, Harry, that's the senator, I want that bill pushed through in 3 days. Okay, it's an economic thing. It's that simple. But we have the power, but the system has wiped us out so bad.
Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power.
San Antonio, Lincoln 6. Go ahead. Clear suspect down, 10-4. 10-4. The officer's code 4. We have one suspect that's been shot.
Open your mind. Your mind. Your mind. And we are back, Negroes. The Popular Thought Series returns with the second part of a double header. Tonight, late night, open debate. The Hoodservative man, he said he willing to take all challenges, so that means anybody. Anybody. So anybody who wants to challenge the Hoodservative, come on through. Because this is what we're gonna do. Y'all know how we do these challenges, right? What we're gonna do is this. We're going to let him come in, lay down his premise, and whoever wants to come in, man, and challenge it, it's on. That's all I can say. But welcome back. I don't have to introduce myself because you just saw me like 15 minutes ago. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know who it is. Y'all know what we're doing here. So, that being the case, y'all know what y'all need to do. I'm waiting for the Hoodservative. I did send him the link. Brother Hoodservative, check your email. Brother Hoodservative, check your email. All right, check your email, brother. I hope y'all came over from the other page. I hope y'all ain't still over there waiting for another show to start, or I hope y'all left your black behinds from over there and came over here, because that stream is over, Negroes. So whenever the Hoodservative makes his way over here, I will excuse me, y'all. I will get this thing started. But until he comes, next week is going to be a pretty good week. Next week we actually have Brother Game Changer will be in the house. Yeah, Brother Game Changer will be here, and the show is going to be called Changing the Game with Game Changer. That's right. Yeah, Brother Game Changer be in the house, and I don't know if that's going to turn into an open challenge or not, y'all. I'm not sure. I'm thinking it's going to be a one-on-one, possibly a chop up. We'll see. We'll see how the night goes. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. And Brother Game Changer will be in the house and be throwing down, man. He's gonna be in here, talking his shit, doing what he does. So anybody who wishes to come through Wednesday night and speak your piece, talk your stuff, you'll be able to do it. Because the one and only Game Changer will be in the house. So let me know what you want to do. You can write me, ahead of time and say, hey, I want to have a conversation with the brother, whatever you want to do. But the brother will be in the house Wednesday night. And then Thursday, we'll be throwing down because the good Doc Phoenix will be here. And him and Lady Shonda will be here as well. And they will be discussing medical careers, STEM careers, what you need to do to get into them, the qualifications, what they pay, which jobs are trending, which jobs are not. So if you wish to get some information, STEM field, medical fields, Wednesday night right here is the place you want to be. Because like I said, Lady Shonda will be here and the good Dr. Phoenix will be in the house. So make sure you have your black asses here Wednesday night. You might just learn something, Negroes. Uh-oh, there he is. The man of the hour has arrived. The one and only Hoodservative. What's good with it, brother?
Hey man, what's going on? Thanks for having me up tonight. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. I'm good. You know how we do these challenge things, man. The floor is yours. Lay down your premise, and whoever want to come up here and give it a shot, they can. You got it, brother. Take it away.
Absolutely. All right, well, thanks for coming in. Thanks for listening, everybody, tonight. Welcome to the show. I have a basic premise that I've basically had for the last couple of years now, just from being a listener, a member, I guess, of the manosphere in general, and particularly the Black manosphere. And the issues we're going to talk about tonight kind of have wide-reaching implications, but I think we can also focus more acutely on the problems of Black America. So we're gonna just look at the Black side of that sort of shit, and basically what my premise is, what I'm gonna lay out is that as far as the problems of modern Black America, racism is way down on the list of problems, and I would argue that feminism is the bigger threat to Black America's current and future success than racism is. And it's been a long, long time since racism actually has been a threat. And frankly, when racism was a physical threat to Black Americans, apparently we were thriving under the shit. So that's a whole nother, conversation in and of itself. But my basic major premise is that the modern problem between Black America is feminism way more than racism. And I don't have a whole list of things to lay out. We're just gonna talk our way through it for the most part. But I do have a couple of short clips. I'm gonna ask the host to screen share with you guys, and we can just sort of break down some of the major current themes and ideas that are going through Black feminism, and how that kind of connects to the situation and the Black community on the whole. And even, because, we kind of looking at like the Black manosphere and all that stuff, and the kind of content that comes out of the Black manosphere, and how Black feminism sort of dictates the tone of a lot of the things that get discussed in the Black manosphere. So my premise is that, and anybody who cares to disagree, anybody who thinks I'm tripping, anybody who thinks that, the Black woman is God, or anybody who thinks that feminism is actually necessary or somehow useful, beneficial to Black men in this day and age, anybody who actually thinks that racism in particular is a more pertinent, useful struggle at this moment in time than feminism, the floor will be yours, and I will cordially invite you up to the panel, and we can have it out and discuss it like gentlemen. I don't want to get into a screaming match with anybody tonight, but that's pretty much how I see it, and I welcome all challengers.
Y'all heard that, right? He's welcoming all challengers. So this is what we're going to do. Y'all know how we do it here. If you wish to come through and challenge Brother Hoodservative, you know what you got to do. Hit that email. The email is prophetofthought@yahoo.com. That's prophetofthought, one word, no caps, @yahoo.com. If you wish to step through and challenge the Hoodservative, he's waiting. I did get one request, though. I did send the link out to one person already. So hopefully they're going to go ahead and come through. We'll see. We'll see. You said you had a video that you wanted to show.
I actually have two clips. I'm not even sure which. I'll play them both because I'm not even going to play the entire clip on this one right here. So I'm going to start out with this one. I'm going to share the screen in just a second here. But basically, it's just going to lay out a couple of themes that I think are very critical. And you could actually trace this stuff back to individual people and dates and all that shit. So it's fascinating when people try to argue against it. And you can be like, no. This happened right here. And that was the beginning of all this crazy bullshit. So I just tried to share the screen with you, Brother X.
There it is. You got it.
Today we hear the call for full equality for women and distinctly for women of color from a multiplicity of perspectives. Intersectionality is a term we often hear, but what does it mean? Kimberly Crenshaw, who coined the term in 1989, explains it with a metaphor.
Consider an intersection made up of many roads. The roads are the structures of race, gender, gender identity, class, sexuality, disability. And the traffic running through those roads are the practices and policies.
Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Now, actually, that's about as much as I want to play of the clip anyway. But really, what I wanted to highlight is the lady speaking, Kimberly Crenshaw. She is a big name right now. If you hadn't noticed what's going on with a lot of the people showing up to what do you call it? The school board meetings, and they're protesting CRT, critical race theory, and but without even getting into the pros and cons and all that stuff. If you happen to be against it, or if you happen to be for it, she is the lady that's at the heart of it right now. She is one of the main originators. There's some other people that contributed to the body of work that would, I guess, constitute the origin of CRT, but she is one of the main proponents of it. She's been on television recently talking about it. And just want to highlight that, prominent Black feminist at the heart of, what's a major sort of racial tension at the moment in this nation. And so that, set that aside for a moment. I want to share another clip with you so we can just keep breezing through this here. Let me drop that. It's another prominent.
I know what to do. If y'all want to challenge the brother, there's the email, properthought@yahoo.com. It's properthought@yahoo.com. One word, no caps, if you wish to come through and challenge the Hoodservative.
You describe your relationship with white feminists as complicated. What do you think needs to happen for feminism to be a multiracial prospect?
Yeah, so I want to be real clear that this is not a book where I'm asking Black girls to play nice with white girls. What I want is for Black women to understand patriarchy affects us too, though. We can't have any kind of Black liberation if people aren't talking about Black women and girls. And that doesn't have anything to do with what Becky is or is not doing or saying.
Right away, in that kind of sentiment, that argument, and that's not just, her particular one-off feeling. That is a basic sentiment. It's a tenet almost of Black feminism, in that the problems of Black women are not only separate from Black men, but in a quiet way, if you read between the lines, they are almost directly caused by Black men, and we'll get to that in a minute.
So no movement with Becky?
Look, I think that we got to have strategic solidarities with white women. The Me Too movement.
Strategic solidarities with white women, meaning that they only play the race game disingenuously. You have to understand that about Black feminists in general. When they talk about racism, and that's my general feeling about, modern racist issues anyway, racism issues, but, people are being very disingenuous. But when you just look at what she said about strategic, partnerships or something like that, it's like, no. They're being disingenuous. They're trying to grab and pick and choose what they can use only in terms of gaining power and leverage.
Both in terms of Tarana Burke's work, but also in terms of what we see rich white women testifying to, tells us that even when you have money and power and beauty, you are still subject to the violent whims of men. And that means that there is a cause for solidarity and struggle together. But that doesn't mean that we can't hold white women accountable for their racism, and that we can't have some terms to negotiate in terms of what will bring us to the table.
So talk a little bit about the gender empathy gap, or Black men caring about Black women beyond their mothers, daughters, sisters.
Patriarchy kills everybody. It doesn't just kill.
Patriarchy as a broad concept It sounds like a thing almost worthy of women in general, black women in particular, fighting against. Like there's this oppressor, there's this magical force that's holding them down. But in reality, on a day-to-day level, for a black woman to fight against patriarchy, 9 times out of 10, she's fighting against a black man, whatever black man would be a father or father figure in her life, which, you know, her baby daddy or her actual father. That means you have to attack whatever systems that would grant him, you know, quote unquote, natural authority.
Black women. So much of Black women's political behavior in this country is about helping the world to see and humanize Black men, and to say that we understand the ways that systems.
And again, we've talked about this subject a bajillion times in the Black manosphere in particular. When she just talked about seeing and humanizing Black men, that only applies to the dead niggas. And frankly, that's only a certain type of dead nigga. You know, not the proper upright dead Black man. You know, not some guy who died in the line of duty or something like that. No. It only applies to a certain type of Black man. And They use that as a weapon, and you would think they're using that as a weapon against, you know, white America, the white system, and it almost sounds cool, like, yeah, sister girl, you striking one against the team, but that's a double-edged sword. She's cutting that bitch both ways. She's stabbing white America and cutting the Black man at the same time with that shit.
Can't believe that
We don't see Black men sort of zooming in the same way and thinking really specifically about the way that systems harm Black women or constrict our sense of possibility, and more so than them not only thinking about it, but having a sense of commitment to helping us change it. Aspiring to be patriarchs like what white men have, that isn't freedom. That isn't going to help anybody. It's certainly not going to help Black people. Commit to
aspiring to be patriarchs like what white men have, it's not going to help. Let me decode that for you guys. If you want to be the head of your house, if you want to raise your children, if you want to actually lead and guide the woman that you cared enough to give a child to, that's white man shit. And not only, and then that, even calling it white man shit is fucked up on a couple levels. Because one, you're saying that it's outside of your bounds as a Black man to want these things, to desire these basic manly male masculine needs, to desire this shit is for the white man that's putting it outside of your Blackness. That's an insult on one level, and then it's also putting it above you because white supremacy, right? Like
are you actually going to sit up here and defame Professor Crunk?
Defame? No. This isn't defamation. This is honest to God, you know, truth and objective. This is observation. This isn't defamation. She's a fine lady. Look how big she is. She's a lot of fine lady.
She's a powerful woman that is fighting for you. That's why she has the name Professor Crunk.
Those arms look powerful. I bet she got a mean left hook. She probably kind of slow though. You could weave it, but like if she catch you slipping, she'd probably fuck you up. Just saying, like she will fight. She look like a fighter.
Those are guns.
Nah, she thinks
I don't think there's any man in this audience that can handle it.
She ain't trying to fight. She thinks she's sexy. She thinks this is sexy.
You don't know. You don't know, bro. These girls are fighting. They high heels.
I mean, there's some people that actually think that I'm joking, like I'm trolling or something. No, if you look up on, you know, any internet search and type in Professor Crunk, Brittany Cooper comes up. That's her professional name, Professor Crunk.
That's her Twitter handle too. But I just wanted to lay out those you know, short videos. I wasn't going to go too deep into them. The videos are not that long themselves anyway, but like those two concepts are really deep. Just in and of itself, you have Black feminists at the heart of racial conflict. And they're not alone at the heart of racial conflict. I'm not going to put it all on the shoulders of Black feminism, but I want to put an idea. I want to sort of crystallize an idea for you guys here. as a political strategy, as a group, as a team strategy, what Black feminists have decided to do is to essentially bait and switch the Black man and the Black political interest. Instead of focusing your Black male grievances and anger on the ways that the American system promotes women, the Black woman, over you and advantages the woman to your disadvantage, you must be forever outraged by whatever racial story, whatever racial grievance they can contrive. And Black feminists are actually at the heart of that whole shit. What they would love for you to do is to never look at how much they've actually stabbed you in the back. If you could always be angry at some random white guy, you'll never be able to focus on the enemy that's, practically in the bed with you most of the time.
So your argument is that the feminism side of things is worse than the racism side. That's what you're saying?
Yes, and I'm giving it a relative time frame here. I'm saying in the current state of Black America, I'm not necessarily going to push this back to Jim Crow or something like that. But we can give this like a fuzzy, in the 70s or something like that, where the problems of Black America became much less of a racial problem, and it started to become more a result of the growth of feminism, the overgrowth of feminism.
Okay, because I will give you a debate on the if you want to go modern time, I'll give you that debate. So far as no, it's I have a different strategy to go about if you're talking about modern times, and I think I can win it.
I'm listening.
Okay, so are you saying that in modern day, say 2004, that feminism is a worse thing than racism?
Let's go back to 2004 still.
Okay, so from that point forward.
Yes, I'll accept that.
Okay, so if you're saying that is the case, that feminism is worse than racism, explain the manosphere.
The manosphere, whether you're talking about the manosphere as a whole or the Black manosphere, it actually popped up rather as a response to what people saw as the encroachment of feminism. Not everybody called it feminism by name all the time, but that was the overall tone, especially when you go back to like the earlier days excuse me, the earlier days when the manosphere was more of the old format. We just listen to videos, whether they were an hour or 5 minutes or whatever. You didn't have that live dialogue like we have right now. So you basically just had a lot of people giving either factual stories. They were chronicling the history of men that sort of got trapped into this system or got damaged by this system, or they were giving you the actual, let's say, the ideological underpinnings of how these things came about. And they were given, let's say, the authors and the names and the events. And we were listening to debates between different people. So you kind of had a large body of work to just attack the concept and the procedures, the legal procedures that feminism dictated. So I would say that even the manosphere itself, and I think what you're talking about is the sort of split, the Black and white side of the manosphere. Is that correct?
No, not at all. Okay, let me give you a point of context of where I'm going with my argument. I would say from the time period that we discussed moving forward, that racism has been more of an issue because using it, individuals have been able to get grown men who, at the very beginning of their careers in the quote unquote manosphere, were anti-feminist type of dudes to embrace feminist thoughts and thinking and teaching strategies such as CRT.
That was clever. I wasn't prepared for that. I see where you're going with this.
The pull of racism has been so strong that those individuals have been able to use it as a tool in order for these individuals to say, yeah, I'm in the ministry, but I'm cool with these feminists that they're teaching this stuff to children. Because the majority of teachers are what gender again?
Hold on. Can you repeat that?
Because I said because the majority of teachers are what gender again?
No. You said the women and the men. You know, women are they're cool with women doing what?
Teaching children CRT.
And you're saying that yeah, and they're
all
more
based on the whole pool of racism, right?
Yeah, that's correct, and I see where you're going with this. That is an interesting argument because what you're saying basically is that as far as the manosphere is concerned, and that is a manosphere specific.
And this is supposed to be some of the staunchest dudes that are supposed to be against feminism. I mean, wasn't it Zero who stated that at the very beginning of all of everything that these guys were bound together for that very purpose? And then recounted a masterful history of the manosphere pre-YouTube eras, right?
Yeah, you know it's so funny, and I was just saying,
and yet because of racism, and yet because of the carrot of racism, it is allowed certain individuals to be able to grasp on to CRT, which is mainly been brought about by feminists. I'm just waiting for the point of how I lied.
I don't think you've lied. I think you actually did sort of just dovetail into an argument that I have kind of made, which is that Black feminists in particular have planted themselves right at the center of racial conflicts. So when you just made that argument about them promoting CRT, I actually introduced that very argument when I talked about Kimberly Crenshaw herself.
Because she was the one that coined intersectionality.
Exactly. This is how
and other authors that are from the CRT regime, such as Abel, Ibrahim Kendi. I'm trying to go through the few that I've been able to read over a little bit. Delgado. What's the other chick's name? I forget her name. Starts with a D as well. But yeah, I mean, all of those individuals are feminists.
Robin Angelo? Well, no,
yeah.
She's white.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would say that to challenge your argument, no, I would say that racism was more powerful.
Well, you're kind of leaving out something. You're leaving out a huge something, in that as a structure, as a practice, technically, CRT is not the direct threat to Black life, Black male life in particular. It is terrible brainwashing. It is wholly, totally diabolical, brain poison. And I'm not trying to say that in any way to be a champion of it, but technically it's not a weapon aimed at the Black mind. It's frankly, aimed at the white mind if we're going to be blunt about it. But the problem,
how so?
Well, because the way it's being used, and don't get me wrong, CRT as a concept could totally be reversed against Black people, because frankly, that was the original racism. Like, if you think about how Black people were described, like, we were just genetically insufficient. We were genetically determined. We were genetically supposed to be slaves because, the white man this and the Black man that. Like, that was the original form of CRT. So the very constructs, the mental constructs, the ideological constructs that comprise modern CRT and all the lessons that people are outraged about right now have once upon a time been actually used against Black people. So the CRT in and of itself is a neutral weapon. So at the moment, the weapon isn't aimed at us, but it could very well be turned at any moment. The problem with CRT, well, the problem in this conversation that we're talking about is there isn't a legal let me just finish this. There isn't a legal structure based on CRT that's actually directed at Black men, which is why I'm talking about feminism.
What you're saying to me, and I'll just put it in a more dumbed down language, is you're trying to tell me that some people are in the Terror Dome in the ring, and then somebody threw a bat in there that had nails in it, and you're saying, well, nobody has the bat at the moment, so you really can't say that it's against you. It's like,
bro. No. Who put us in the Terror Dome? We're gonna roll back the conflict. If we're gonna roll back the sequence of events in the conflict here, then why are we in the Terror Dome? Like
it's like at all moments you got to keep your eyes on who got the bat.
No, you are correct. But again, the weapon in and of itself can be aimed at whatever direction, whichever way the wind blows. That's the whole danger in this sort of
right. So that's the weird thing, that what I'm saying is that's why I would say that racism is more powerful, because for this reason, and let's just float with the illustration of we're in the Terror Dome, right? And the bat with the nails in it has been thrown, it's in play. And what the individual that brought the whole thought of the bat with the nails in it in play has never been on your side. So now you're going to trust her to be on your side and not use the bat against you.
SKC, you're correct. Your observation is accurate as far as I can tell. But here's the problem: and in terms of the title and the focus of the debate, you're now you just pointed out how now feminism, as embodied by the Black woman, is threatening the Black man again. And that's kind of what I'm playing out here. Feminism, Black women, and Black feminists rather, will use racism as a double-edged sword. It's a weapon to gain two advantages. It's to push the Black man down and to prop the Black woman up.
Right, which is why I used the whole point of the manosphere, because it was supposed to be like the interview, like if you go and listen to the beginning people, and they recount history and all that type of stuff. Those are dudes that were supposed to be anti-feminism, right? Okay. So even though that was supposed to be the reason of them even being in the space, the draw of racism is so powerful that there are some that are like, well, I don't even care about feminism no more. We got to fight this race.
Again, that you misunderstand, and I agree with you. But the whole problem here is that when I lay out, Black women have picked up that bat that's been thrown in the middle of the Terror Dome now. So
yeah, but they're promising you that they're not going to hit you with it.
Yes. But is it the bat's fault, or is it feminism as embodied by the Black women who's wielding the bat? Do you blame the gun?
But you agreed to turn your back and said, yeah, I trust it. Why? Because of racism.
Right. Well, now, come on. Now you're trolling Black men, which is totally legit. Because, bro, we got to be smarter about.
It is what it is. I'm telling it what the truth is. If a person, if I was to come up here and say, like some people will say, hey, SKC, okay, name me some authors or people that are into this whole CRT thing, blah 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 blah. Okay, and then I go ahead and start naming some. I'll start with Crenshaw, or you can go with Bell as well. He was a lawyer, or we can say Kendi. All of those are feminist. So are you still in the manosphere and you anti-feminist, or are you saying CRT is cool now? It's an either or. You
It,
can't have both.
it is. Well, actually, it very much is. And I ran into the same ideological problem months ago. This is how I started getting in debates and arguments with people. But I see the conflict, and I think, yeah, a lot of what we talk about in the Black manosphere actually does stem. It's like all the same poisonous fruit from the poisonous tree here, and you can't.
It's gone full circle. Years ago, dudes was sitting on Obsidian Stream, hearing him go ham in on Deborah Cooper, and now they on the side of Deborah Cooper.
Oh, you ain't shit. Oh, you ain't shit. Ah!
I mean, am I lying? Am I lying?
No, you totally took this somewhere else, but god damn it, that's so fucking crazy. I hadn't even thought of that. What's so funny?
So I don't know. Maybe I kind of understand why some people hate the dude now. I don't know.
No. Well, I get you on that. But set him aside for a minute because I don't really want to turn this about him. But no, you're dead right. You're dead right. Fucking right. But like, I don't want to go down that road. But like, Deborah Cooper. That's fascinating because even tonight when I start laying out the whole, we wound up back on the side of Black feminists. We're talking about Kimberly Crenshaw.
Yeah, you might as well go ahead and join the Kobahi Collective and the whole nine.
Right, because you just made an even more intimate connection to the Black man. And I'm tripping like, wow, that shit is so deep. But bro, that is the nature of the problem for us as men and Black men rather, because you don't really get this dichotomy in the manosphere at large, right? The white guys of the manosphere and the guys that are sort of, maybe they're Black, but they're mainstream manosphere. They're not really delving into the racial shit. Those guys don't really pick women's side of arguments in general. If there's a bunch of women on one side of the argument, they're almost just loath to be there. So I think in Black America, in the Black manosphere, we have a different problem of not being able to filter through the bullshit to see that the same sort of enemy, quote unquote, is on the side of a lot of these problems.
So I think I don't know with those two. I think I want you to submit, man, that racism is more powerful because it's so powerful that you had individuals that spent years here.
Well, no,
stating that they were anti-feminism, and then at the same, and now you got CRT in the game, and it's like, oh no, Deborah Cooper's cool. Kimberly Crenshaw, cool.
You're fucking great. You're fucking great. You're my dude.
So have I won this?
What you've done is came in and interjected a bunch of agreeable, outrageous, triggering, emotionally sensitive facts that, I can't really assail you for. However, you have completely changed the terms of the debate, and you cannot win by changing the terms of the debate into something that we're bound to agree on, because feminism, as you are describing it, is a no, it's powerful as a fake weapon. So it's like, how like you ever watched a movie where a guy he put his hand in his jacket and he poked his jacket out like he had a gun? Like that's feminism. Well, no, I'm sorry. That's how Black feminists use racism. So even to say that it's powerful, it's only powerful in the minds of lesser men, and maybe that's a lot, but it's only powerful in the minds of men who ain't fucking paying attention. But the weapon in and of itself isn't even a weapon.
But it is a weapon, because if you can convince somebody with your finger in your pocket that you have a gun, and they do whatever it is, it's like okay, you still have leverage, and again, I'm borrowing so many points from Zero's argument, about the whole thing about guys, they don't have any leverage against the whole feminism thing. Okay, what these women are using the leverage of racism against these guys because it's in their mind.
They are not using the leverage of racism
They
against
are. They are.
No. Hear me out. They're not using racism. They're using shame. See, racism is the leverage against white America, right? But the other side, the double side of that sword, it's a double-edged sword. So it's racism on one side of the blade, but it's shame that they're using against black men. Shame for being bitch-ass niggas. Shame for not defeating the white man. Shame for watching your woman get raped on the plantation. Like, it's all of that historical bullshit built in. But the problem is relatively the same. You know, it cuts both ways, as I was laying out before. It's just that they're using it as a weapon in your mind. The weapon in the real world doesn't actually exist. Remember, we're still talking about a finger in the jacket pocket that looks like a gun.
Okay, not enter into the fray. So Zero's comment, he says the leverage is that, but I will debate that because I don't think that Professor Crunk has that leverage over dudes.
Professor Crunk is merely see, the general is not out there fighting the battles. You got to remember,
but she can get people fired up over. Oh man, them people treating you racist. They racist.
The sexy bitches. Yeah. The bitches you want to fuck, right?
And that's what I'm saying is she uses that as a point, as a carrot, a point of leverage, so that dudes will accept CRT. And when they accept CRT, by proxy, they are accepting the authors of it, many of which are feminists. The majority of them are.
And by accepting the authors, you're actually accepting their authority because now they're your heroes. They've rescued you. They've been the one to light the candle and lead you out this fucking dark jungle.
And there's the craziness of it, Hood, is that even if you don't say that you're not like, hey man, I'm not a feminist or whatever. Now, no, but they now have indoctrinated you to use their language. You're using words like intersectionality, gender dysphoria, all that type of stuff. It's like all that nonsense stuff that doesn't mean anything in real life.
Well, another thing you kind of
they got your kids using it.
Right. Another thing you kind of just mentioned by saying that is the whole rainbow crew. Like, you really think the rainbow agenda would have sunken so deeply into Black America if it hadn't been protected by Black feminists in the first place?
So again, my argument to you is that I think that in these days, the 2004 on up forward, that the racism is more powerful because just staying on its own, the feminism, the dudes was like, oh, okay, no, I'm going to form this manosphere. I'm going to battle that. No, threw the whole thing of racism in, and they're like, oh, well, we good. We could be together now.
No, I cannot concede those terms because even as you described it, we both kind of in our own ways alluded to the idea of racism being as a weapon. You mentioned it as, the bat that got thrown into the middle of the Thunderdome match, right? The weapon is never greater than the wielder. The man is always the most important thing on that fucking field. You can shoot his weapon, but he's still out there running around trying to kill you. And so the idea of racism being somehow greater than the feminists, that the Black feminists that use it as a weapon, I cannot accept that premise. Again, the gun is not greater than the man shooting it. It is merely a tool. That man will always want to kill you, even if the gun runs out of bullets.
I get that. But what I'm saying is that normally, if the bat wasn't in play, the dude would see the B-dub as the enemy.
Well, correct.
When the bat came in play, he was like, oh no, not only are you my friend now, but I trust you wielding even though 5 minutes ago you were trying to knock my block off.
that is not the bat's fault because you gotta think about the victim. Well, not victim, but the captive. I guess Black men would be the captive in this. You know who I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about Negan right now. It's like Negan has that bat, right, and he can wield it to defend you. He can wield it to beat you over the head, but you're still his captive, and that's kind of the Black male's role in this sort of thing. Once upon a time, you could have been arguing against feminism. Actually, you know, I talked about the whole timeline of events. If you look at how like the Black civil rights movement came about, how it progressed rather, there was no real rest period. We came right out of Martin Luther King's civil rights to revolutionary civil rights with Malcolm X, which led into the Black Panthers and all that, which was its whole era. And then from revolutionary civil rights, feminism took over. Black feminism tock over. Like the Combahee River Collective was like a couple of years after the Black Panthers basically were defunct. So
and I give you all of that. I give you all of that. But I'm talking about 2004 forward. That was part of our agreement in this discussion.
Well, I'm kind of laying out the sequence of events, and that feminism around that time, feminism, because we will both concede that the civil rights was fighting racism, like in good faith. There was racism that needed to be addressed. But what I'm saying is somewhere along the way, the racism battle was won, and Black men never got to chill and sip our lemonade and get our, number one trophy.
That's their problem. That's Juneteenth. Yeah, you didn't find out that you was free until 3 years later. That's your own problem. But
what happened is like you just described, Black feminists they didn't start now with the racism weapon. Way back then, they were playing the race card as way back then. It just wasn't as blatant. It wasn't as profitable and in your face and mass produced. But they were born playing the race card. That's kind of why I'm saying, like, no. Black feminism has always used racism as a weapon. That was their birth. They came right out of the racism struggle. Then say, not only are we fighting racism, we're also fighting the Black man's patriarchy.
I would say yes and no, because it was used in a different way. It wasn't used to the benefit of all parties. It was used in such a way as that's why the whole word Kimberly Crenshaw came up with, intersectionality, is to say no. The racism that's put to me is doubly more than yours. So I mean, it's
you're now making my point. You understand? You fell right for my point, which was that major Black feminists decided that I can double down on my fight against racism against the white man. That's my race fight. And then for Black feminism, you're not fighting the white man directly, because your fight against the quote unquote patriarchy is not against the white man. So she made that a crystal idea. She crystallized that idea for university legal scholar purposes.
Now look at this. It's like I'm having three debates at one time, and I'm gonna go in logical order here. So okay. So you said the whole thing about putting in the whole thing of Black feminism and so forth. Zero's in the chat. He says there's no such thing as Black feminism. That's just feminism. And I'm going to disagree, because on the whole point of this, and here comes the technicality, and I can't pronounce the guy's name correctly, rectilingus. Okay, here's the technicality. If there was no Black feminism, CRT couldn't exist. That's all three in one.
No,
that's all three in one.
Bro, made up ideas that give birth to made up ideas exist because they're made up ideas.
Yeah, but they're fighting over it right now, though. So how made up is it?
But because it's made up doesn't mean you can. This is what we're kind of talking past the point of how this whole thing is actually a mind fuck. It's all a mental game. It's all designed to have you chasing your tail. Like feminism in and of itself is built on a lie. Like we can argue feminism is not.
Because here's the thing, as you said, feminism is not. But when you throw in the racism, it becomes, like you said, the mind screw or whatnot. All right. And that is so powerful that you have individuals. Now think about this. Think about this, Hood. You have individuals that when it comes to this whole argument of CRT, that's primarily affecting children, some people that's in college, and some people that's on like corporate jobs or whatnot. You have dudes in the manosphere, they don't have no kids and they arguing about it. That's power. That is power, boy. Come on, now.
I agree with you. It's powerful. I agree with you. It's highly powerful. It's damn near the nuclear bomb for the black
They
community.
don't have no kids, and they on the side of it.
It's powerful.
They have
Yes,
the skin in the game, and they talking about.
but you to argue that black
That's
feminism
more powerful than feminism, man.
to argue that black feminism is wielding the most powerful weapon they could pick up, which is racism, doesn't say racism is the problem. Black feminism is the problem. Again, the gun is not bigger than the person shooting it.
Man, if a person has an addiction to something, it's like it's not the pusher, man. Anybody could be the pusher.
And those terms are a little bit more useful to your argument because black men are actually not black men. The black community is relatively addicted to the racial narrative. Yes, that is and well, here again though, now feminism is also using that weapon against black women to keep them in line, because black women are also in the fight against the white patriarchy, the white system, white supremacy, white patriarchy are all intertwined, and they're so deeply intertwined that they want to keep the black man from embracing any part of quote unquote patriarchy at all. So again, it's still a weapon of black feminism.
That's the beauty of it, because I like what Zero says. He says this is ridiculous. CRT and feminism are distinct, and I'm like, okay, tell Kimberly Crenshaw that.
Right, these are both her babies. That's like you gave birth to little two piece of shit sons. They both out here robbing banks and fucking bitches up and shit, but they're distinct. No, you gave birth to two pieces of sons.
She has papers talking about the intersectionality of critical race theory and gender.
Like no. And as far as like CRT and feminism being distinct, the only reason they even brought up in the context of tonight's conversation is to highlight that it was actually produced by a black feminist.
And it was. And all I'm saying to you is racism is so powerful that they could not have used another weapon in order to achieve what has been achieved in the manosphere. That's my argument to you. You put another weapon in their hand, it ain't gonna work. But racism is so powerful. The addiction is so powerful. Not even Fitnoy Floyd can say no to it.
No, you're killing me. You're killing me because you're being a fucking wordsmith right now, and I'm having a hard time trying to separate.
Do that dance, Gator. You know I do.
No. Again, I have to double back to my original concept, which is that the feminists are the people wielding the weapon. Even if we bring up, because my whole YouTube career was damn near started arguing about not just George Floyd, but what was the other guy, Ahmaud Arbery, and we were arguing about these guys and they got killed, and I kept saying this before later on, like, bro, how is it that y'all was just arguing about Pookie and Ray Ray versus the educated lames, and now when Pookie gets fucked up, he get caught up in some Pookie shit, you want to go to the mats over this nigga? And I'm like, so you only hate Pookie when he's fucking your girl? Like, I thought that shit was crazy as shit, but yes,
people are giving me the argument. See, like, take for instance Samantha P. She says feminism was to destroy the nuclear family in the black community, not CRT. And I'm like, cool, let's give you that argument. But all I'm telling you right now is, in the time frame that we're talking about right now, 2004 forward, that you had individuals that acknowledged that. They said, yes, feminism did destroy the nuclear family in the black community, but CRT is okay, and I'm okay with the women that created it as well, even though they were the feminists who destroyed the nuclear family. That's some powerful stuff.
Bro, but
that's just powerful stuff. You can't deny that, Hood.
I won't. I'm not. I haven't denied anything. I just keep trying to divert your argument to, I think it's proper setting here, because they've been subverted mentally. It doesn't mean that, again, the the people wielding the weapon aren't the problem. You have been the victim of brainwashing. Are you going to blame the tools of brainwashing, or are you going to blame the person who's just been whispering bullshit in your ear, and now you walking around spitting a bunch of bullshit? And blame the person who's
what I'm saying to you. What I'm saying to you, Hood, is if animals could talk and say, "Hey, man, that racism," they would go with the animals and be like, "Yeah, I need to be on the animal side." That's how powerful it is.
God, it is though. I mean, like you're not wrong in
man,
that.
I'm with these lions, man. We need to be more animalistic.
Oh, God, this is why I don't really care about being off in my own little corner and doing my own thing, because I see the shit is so contradictory and just hypocritical. Like the internal hypocrisies drive me crazy, and I can't. I just like, nah, bro. There's something really deeply wrong with all of this shit. But you're not wrong in that sense. It's just like I keep trying to direct you as far as the topic of the conversation here, but like that's a manosphere problem of anything. It's not a black community problem per se, because the black community isn't the manosphere. Like if you go out,
but I thought the manosphere was the last hope. I thought the manosphere was the last beacon of the hope.
Bro, no.
I thought this was the rebellion, man. What are you talking about? You gonna let the Republic win?
No, whoa. What if KS is Darth Vader? Oh fuck! Stop playing with stop playing with these metaphors, my nigga. Jesus Christ! You're gonna get all kind of other concepts flowing around that people are gonna be unhappy with. I totally support these ideas, by the way, but these ain't ready. They're not ready.
Professor Crunk is right. She's the chosen one.
Listen, bro. Listen. This shit is deep. Like people have not really stepped back and psychologically analyzed the juxtaposition between their political views, their relationship views, and their community views. Like there is a thread that runs common to all the shit, but because of racism, because the white man's is over there, people are scared to really look at it and embrace the truth of what everything is.
In all seriousness, though, the logic that I'm trying to put to you is this. Again, without the idea of racism, which before the feminists and all that other stuff, you had guys that were on that racism train, and they had legitimate reasons back in the day, but the individuals that are living today that are within our age range, they've never seen chattel slavery. They've never seen Jim Crow.
True.
So, but it is so powerful in their minds that other individuals were able to say, I can't get this individual to get on my side on this feminist thing. I can't get this individual on my side, for all of these other stuff. But if I use this, yes, it doesn't matter what I say as long as I wrap it up with that racism, because it's just that powerful in these guys' minds.
Well,
so much so that they would side with individuals that in this very space, guys have had hours and hours long of content of how off these individuals' thinking are and so forth, and they participated and so forth, and all of that is thrown away.
That's
powerful, man.
Yes, that is a sad commentary on the black manosphere in particular. One I completely co-sign, by the way, because I think I feel like I ran face first into that very thing. If you go back a year ago, so with the whole fight for justice, with Floyd, Marbury, and all these other guys, Blake, whatnot, that was we saw the turn and the manosphere in particular. But again, I got to caution you that the manosphere is not the black community as a whole. It's not the community. The manosphere is kind of like a small, sort of almost a think tank sort of space that exists on the internet. And we can see some of the ideas and some of the attitudes of the manosphere begin to spill over in the community. But if you go back,
Yes.
hold on. Let me get this out though. If you go back to like when this whole thing sort of took, to the forefront, it wasn't done by Black feminists per se. This is something from way higher up. Like the idea that we're going to put racism at the forefront during the middle of a huge national historical election. I don't think it was just Black feminists that had anything to. I don't think it was Black feminists, period, that had anything to do with that. They could just ride the wave and do their job. They know exactly what they're supposed to do in times like this. But the idea that all these events that push things in a certain direction were manipulated by Black feminists and total, like, no. These bitches just fell in line and did their job.
Well, I'll say this to you. A lot of people came to these spaces stating with the whole express statement that because of Black feminism and how the Black male voice was not heard for decades upon decades upon decades upon decades, we had individuals finally coming, grouping together, giving the real, as it were, of how things have occurred. And you had various people from all walks of life, various backgrounds, social statuses, and they accumulated their stories together in order to put up this consolidated front to say, no, the bros have been hoodwinked. Well, because of this racism that's tossed into this CRT, you have guys that are willing to throw all that away and say, no, well, that stuff wasn't that important.
We agree on the power of racism in the minds of Black people.
It wasn't that important.
I get, because I get that we somewhat agree on your premise here, but
I wasted these years talking about this stuff and it wasn't important.
No, Jesus Christ, yo. You know what? Let's drop the debate premise for a minute. Let's just, because fuck you're bringing up something that's way too juicy, and I don't want to like act like I'm debating you. It's too difficult to even keep trying to go back and forth and drag this conversation.
I want the W. I came up here for the W.
For the fact that I'm just dropping the debate, you can call that. Just for the fact that I'm dropping it, because what the fuck is really going on here? You gotta really think about this shit. Have we been wasting the last 10 years on Black male YouTube to only fall in line to some idea dreamt up by some goofy bitches that none of you niggas are ever gonna fuck these hoes? But you letting them Pied Piper you though. That shit don't make any sense, and I'm fucking ashamed to be associated with some shit like that on some red pill shit. Y'all disgracing the red pill to let these bitches just come again and then gallop in the front lines with their goofy paperwork and they made up stories about how things work. And niggas is out here making money and taking care of business, and you're gonna let they made up stories carry the day. That shit don't make no sense, and y'all been talking bad about these bitches for 8 years now. Oh God, that shit kills me.
I'm not gonna fall into that whole argument, because to me, it's too simplistic when it comes to the whole idea. Oh, they just want to sleep with these people. It's like, nah, that's not the case. I think again, the pull is the idea of racism. And I understand why it has such a strong pull on, certain individuals. And, it is what it is. It's cool. I'm not going to fight against them and they're legitimately thinking that is something that holds them back or affects them in life. Hey, if that's what they want to go with, that's fine. But then you also have to acknowledge then that if you are on the side of the, okay, I think CRT is cool.
I lost you for a little bit.
Such and such.
Faded out in the last 5 seconds.
If they saying all of that is saying that they want to go along with that, then you have to acknowledge too that you're cool with feminism. It's the same argument that was pushed to me many, many, many times over, where people would say, oh man, you're saying this. Those are white men's talking points. Okay, well, those are feminist talking points.
You know the fucked up thing about that whole concept of white man's talking points, bro. A lot of the times when people are really in the black manosphere and just having conversations about the way things work in the community, especially when that's why I anchored it around the whole Pookie and Ray Ray versus Educated Lame debate, because that was a whole era of the black manosphere at one point. Like that was what was being discussed on multiple platforms, and a lot was described about the inner workings of the community because you had that platform, almost a safe platform, a safe space to talk about the inner dynamics, like some real inside baseball about the community. But if a white man had said any of these things, you would call him a racist. So the whole concept of white man talking points is foreign to me. Like, bro, y'all been really fucking balls to the wall, bare naked criticism about how shit really works and how we really are, how we really relate to one another as black people. But you would try to hit somebody below the belt with this stupid idea about, oh, those are white man talking points. Like, bro, women would call you, black women would tell you that you sound like the white man because they listen to the black manosphere. Like, that shit is stupid. I don't get that shit.
Well, I will say this. I think when you talk about you throw in the bat with the nails, the CRT, and the conversations that I've heard thus far, I haven't heard a lot of them within the manosphere. I've heard some in different spaces that make a lot more sense. But within this space, I think you have a lot of individuals that are wanting to discuss it because it is being discussed in other platforms and it's being talked about in mainstream news. But very, 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 very few people have read any of the authors at all. At all. And there's this, I think, a little bit of gaslighting on one side where a conversation may get started up by saying, okay, well, who are the people that you've read? And it's like, oh, why are you even asking me? You haven't read this stuff either. You know what I mean? So, and I hear that. I've seen that argument a couple of times. But I don't know. It's weird. I don't understand why. What's the pull towards it other than racism? It doesn't make any sense to me, especially if you don't have kids and you don't work in a corporate environment where it affects your living.
Power is the only game that's actually being played.
Big J said he could whoop both of us right now with one hand tied behind his back,
and I guess
jumping
Big J,
on one foot.
If you're gonna let Big J up, fine. But just give me like a minute to take a break before he comes up. But I wanted to say this about power. We're all actually we're not really playing the racial harmony game. I mean, obviously harmony's off the table at this current moment, but the whole thing, whether we're talking about black feminism or whether we're talking about a lot of this artificial, manufactured racial tension that's been going on in the last year or so with George Floyd. Anybody seen the George Floyd statues, by the way? You guys proud of the George Floyd statues? Like are you proud? Does your blackness shine a little brighter knowing there are two George Floyd statues in this country? But like that's what I mean about this artificial moment of racism. And now
I'm properly represented. I can go outside with a white beater and I can see a statue that looks like me.
Like, I'm offended. Like, as black people, we got the first statue of a dope fiend and a wife beater falling asleep on the park bench. Like you would think his arm is open because he's like he's embracing somebody to come and sit next to him on the bench, but nah, the nigga's nodding off. Like, that's how dope heads nod off on park benches. And like, this shit is an insult in my opinion. The whole shit is a fucking disgrace. We got a whole lot of it's a lot of rich whites quietly laughing at us.
I don't understand why the dude said that. He laughed and he said that that's rough. I thought that's what we were shooting for, representation, right? Well, that's a real man.
We are being represented. Yes, we are being represented. That's why it's an insult.
Because you need people on the big stage that looks like you. I mean, right now You have in the Olympics, you have a woman that looks like a common streetwalker. That's representation.
Which woman?
Shakari, whatever her name is, Richardson or Robinson or something like that.
Oh,
The lady with the orange hair. She was running and she got the long nails and the tats and the camel eyebrows and the double nose ring and yeah.
God. Well, listen. You are. I guess.
Yeah, she is representing all the women in Tokyo right now.
Yo,
brother Big J, are you up here to challenge the Hoodservative?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am, because I'm tired of the talking points. And yeah, so let's really talk about these talking points. Doesn't anybody know who Lee Atwater is? Do any of the gentlemen on here know who?
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hoodservative, are y'all going to debate? Because if y'all going to debate, I'm going to set up the clock. What do we got going on here? Let me know.
Well, just real quick, I know Steve Atwater. He played football for the Broncos.
Well,
Hoodservative. Hold on, Big J. Hoodservative. Paging Hoodservative. You're muted.
Sorry, I had to step away for a second. All right, I'm
so
back.
Are we debating?
Sure. Big J, you want to take a premise and a debate on it?
Yeah. Let's talk about the premise. Is going to be is the black manosphere? Is that is it a white? Do they take white man's talking points? And I have to say yes. The black manosphere does take white conservatives talking point. And I'm gonna tell you why. Well, is that where we can go at? Are we gonna start?
Well,
because it's up to the Hoodservative because it's his night. So he kind of called.
I was just gonna, I didn't want to cut you off. Sorry, X. I just want to say, let us kind of work that out because you just sort of jumped on the stage with that. And I know that was a concept that just sort of came up in conversation. So let's sort of define it a little bit before we go down this road. You're saying that the black manosphere is basically based off of white conservative talking points. I need you to iron that out a little bit more.
Okay, I mean, here are the classic arguments. Black women are 80% of black women are single mothers. The single mother issue, the feminism thing, the black man was kicked out the home, argument, and also and there is in the classic repetitive talking points of the inaction of why the Black Manosphere is not a political organization, but just a debating society. Not like its white counterpart that actually have changed laws, but we're gonna go ahead though and go start right there.
Okay, let's start right there at the very tip of the end. What law specifically has the white manosphere changed? And
I mean, when that was in Washington State, they changed they helped change the laws about that. Oh, well, actually, they didn't change law. They went to the court system and changed how women can be drafted. They started that in Washington State. So shout out to Sandman and them and so forth. But
right
anyway,
are you saying women can be drafted right now as we speak? I did not know that actually became law. I know it's being discussed.
Yeah, in courtrooms, yeah.
It's being discussed.
Yeah. I mean, they went though and actually is on the docket on the court. So y'all gonna have to sit there.
I thought they lost that one.
Right. I'm not sure that
your
it actually
game up. You gotta step up your game up. Black Manosphere. Yeah, I gotta step your game up. But here's the thing. Here is my premise. Are we going to start this debate or not? Are we going to start this debate or not?
Good question.
Take the debate. We can take it on that premise. I guess you pretty much got it nailed.
No, but the premise of my argument is the talking points.
Yeah. I wanted to be clear exactly what you had to say. I think we're clear, and I'll accept your terms.
All right. So
flat out.
Okay, go ahead. Let's start then.
So Big J would be the anti, right? He's going to be the negative.
Yeah. I'm very anti.
Let me response, can I say this one thing in response? Because you
Go ahead.
Because you say that the black manosphere is based on quote unquote white conservative talking points, I will grant you conservative and whatever you mean by that. White is up for debate, and I will focus my arguments around whether they're quote unquote white talking points, because that is a critical element I think we need to hash out. Whether are we saying white shit? Like, what the fuck is that? But let's have that argument. Is that where we're going to go with this? Because I think that's really the crux of what you have to say.
Yeah, is it white male conservative talking point?
Yeah. Let's have it out then.
Okay, then.
All right.
I'll tell you what,
Hold on, brother Big J. Hold on. God damn it. Now, these are the rules. The rules are 5-minute opening statements. The negative always goes first. The affirmative always goes second. We will do opening statements. Each debater will get 5 minutes. After that, we will go into something called the rebuttal round. Now, we're only going to do 2 rebuttal rounds for time constraints. Then, after that, we'll go into rapid fire. Rapid fire, there is no clock, there's no referee, there is no moderator. It's mono direct engagement. We let that go for a little while. And after that, we're going to do 5-minute closing statements. The affirmative will go first in closing statements. The negative will go second. After that, we go to the polls. And after the polls, if the debaters have time, we shall allow questions to the debaters. But if you want to ask the debaters questions, those questions must be super chatted or Cash App, or I will not read them. So, 5 minutes on the clock. Big J, you are up. Pull the trigger. Opening statements.
Here is the problem. The premise of my argument is, okay, the premise of this argument is, it is the black manosphere repeating, regurgitating white conservative talking points. And I have to say, yes, they do. Here is the fact. The idea of the single parent family argument, right? Saying, using saying a black woman or 80% single parent family homes, that's not entirely true, because the talking points came from Lee Atwater, who was a campaign manager of Ronald Reagan during the 1976 GOP primary against Gerald Ford in 1976. Lee Atwater created the thing called the welfare queen, where it had a black face, because he used a woman by the name of I've got her name. Her name was Taylor. I forgot her last name. Linda Taylor was her name. So that talking point of 85, that all black women are single mothers, that's been going on, even though, despite the fact that single parent households has been decreasing ever since. So it's no longer 85% or 75%. It's more like 60 during this time and day. Second thing, kicking the man out the household. Welfare, the liberals kick black men out the household. That's not entirely true, because it was California, it was New York during the 1970s. It was Nelson Rockefeller, a fucking Republican, Ronald Wilson Reagan, who was a Republican out of the state of California. So it was the East Coast and the West Coast states that actually kicked men out under the welfare programs under Nelson Rockefeller and Ronald Reagan, that kicked men out the household. Nowhere else in the South. Nowhere else in the South, in a couple few states that's in the Midwest that have done that. Otherwise, that's another talking point about welfare kicking, that the liberals are the one kicking black men out the household, when it was actually conservatives that was doing it. Try again on that one. And yes, there has been a Supreme Court case that was against that, and I want to say around 1977, I think. But anyway, you know what? I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Okay, I think he concedes. I'll take his
All right.
two.
Are you conceding that time, brother Big J?
Yeah.
All right, brother Hoodservative. Do you want that?
Yeah, I want to face him on this. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you want that time, brother Hoodservative?
2.5 minutes. I don't know if I'll use it all, but I will definitely take it and use whatever cushion I can get.
All right, so that's gonna make it 7:29. All right, 7:29 on the clock. Brother Hoodservative, you are up. Pull the trigger, sir. Opening statements.
Let's go back through his arguments. So I guess he said Lee Atwater started the whole argument about the welfare queen, which is relatively untrue. He may have politicized the argument of welfare queen in his position as a campaign strategist, but and then Ronald Reagan actually made it politically a thing with his whole welfare queen advertisement campaign, and it was actually based on a real woman, a real Chicago strag who had a bunch of different IDs, who had a bunch of different men. She was out there selling dope and selling pussy and all kinds of shit. So even to defend the notion, the history, the historic maligning of the welfare queen, you're putting yourself out there defending the strag. You might as well go out there and pimp the bitch yourself. That aside, when you're talking about the black man being put out of the home, even if I were to buy your argument that it was only restricted to certain cities, it was restricted to the major black population centers by your very argument. So the places where you had the most black people would also be the places where you had black women chasing the black men out of the household. How that's not a nationwide trend, how that doesn't make for a nationwide cultural trend, I don't know. Because if you can't tell me you get the most black people you could possibly manage in the one population center, and then implement this policy that says the woman is not only financially rewarded for not having a man in the house, but you create a social dynamic where they're now culturally reinforcing one another for not having a man in the house. They begin to form their own packs and little sister girlfriend clubs to support themselves through single motherhood. So the argument that the no man in the house policy didn't have a detrimental effect is just fucking outrageous. Like, bro, you can't discount how deep an impact that shit has when we are basically right now, I don't know your age, but if you've been living, if you're an adult, if you're over 30 rather, at this moment in time, you're basically a product of the women. A lot of us are products, let's say if you're 45 and under, you're a product of these women. So I don't know how you can discount how big an impact, how big of a cultural and financial impact the whole man out of the house legal policy was. Because the legal policy, although by your argument, I'm only buying your argument for the sake of rebuttal. I am not saying you're factually correct, but by the premise you laid out, if that was only restricted to certain population centers in America, well, that was restricted. That still meant it was where most black people were. So you're now creating a huge financial and the cultural element is what's key here. You're creating a cultural dynamic where now the women are introduced to being financially independent, and you can create these songs. I remember when I was a fucking kid, there was this one song my mom and them, they would play at parties and shit. No romance without finance, got to have a J-O-B. Women began to brag about how much they were now singing. It became a pop cultural phenomena that the women, and not just black women, but women in general, began to actually sing about, you got to step it up just to get with me. When in a generation prior, most men just needed to be able to take care of a basic family. Like the dynamic had so greatly, drastically changed that the culture, everything about our culture, the dynamics begin to flip. So to even say that shit had no value, like, bro, you don't realize the can of worms that open by beginning to replace and subvert male authority. Now, and there's nothing wrong with saying there's no romance without finance, but the idea that these bitches were out here actually singing, because like women were rising, they were rocketing into financial and social dominance. and they were gloating about the shit, bro. If you go back and listen to our culture, if you go watch our movies, like women were like there was a lot of rebellion going on. And as a black man, I don't know how we can't look back at that rebellion and not be slightly offended by it, because now we're knee deep in fucking the government oppression, not necessarily black female, but government oppression. And to say that everything that the black manosphere describes is talking about white talking points, how can we describe accurately the world if we're going to disavow anything that white people might actually agree on? Like listen, I don't know if you've ever been in let me rephrase that. Let's assume you're in a fight. Let's assume you have a fight coming up. You got to actually physically engage with another grown man, right? Are you going to not listen to the advice of trainers because your opponent says the same thing about you? If your opponent says you're weak on the jab, so I'm just going to hook and uppercut the shit out of you, are you not going to strengthen your jab? Like, it's a silly notion to say that because the white man said it, I can't also take truth from it. Like that is a crippling concept. And not only is it crippling, I just finished talking to SKC about how black feminism hides behind racism and wields racism. It's a sword and a fucking shield for these goofy bitches, and you are now standing behind these bitches while they wield a fucking sword and a shield to bash white men who got nothing to do with it, and to slash and fucking beat up black men who are just trying to survive, and you would stand on the side of these bitches. Hell no. Don't believe nothing these bitches have to say. And it's just for fucking, if you drink too much and you wake up surrounded by a bunch of ruthless raggedy bitches, just consider the fact that you're on the wrong side of things, bro. Like however you wound up there, if you drunk a magic potion, if you smoked some great weed, if you fucked up and smoked some crack and you wound up on the side of these stupid bitches' arguments, question yourself before you question me, my nigga. I'm done.
Woo! I'm gonna sound like Ric Flair on this motherfucker, man. Woo! Because here is the thing, though, sir.
Hold on a second, because I'm not going to keep the time anymore, because the official timekeeper of the T.P.O.T debates has arrived, and he does a much better job than my black ass. What's good, brother KIT? Brother KIT?
What's up, brother X? How you doing?
What's good with it, man? We're going into rebuttals now, and we're going to do 4 minutes apiece because it's late. So we're going to do 2 rebuttal rounds, and we're going to go into rapid fire. So we're doing 4-minute rebuttal rounds on this one. All right.
All right, just give me a second. I gotta pull up everything
and y'all hit the goddamn like button. Why do I always gotta tell you Negroes to hit the damn like button? Why? Why must I say this every night? Why must I say it? Hit that damn like button. Negroes.
Make sure I hit the like buttons too. I'm gonna hit it on all my accounts.
Because if you don't, I will haunt your old black ass mama in her dreams. Make me do it. Don't make me float over mama bed tonight. Don't make me do it. We're just waiting for the timekeeper to get his stuff together. There we go. All right. 4 minutes on the clock. We are now entering the rebuttal round. Brother Big J, pull the trigger. You are up, sir.
Woo! Because the thing is, all I hear from you, sir, and no disrespect here. All I hear was just an emotional argument, but no facts, no data, no stats to back up what you just say. All I hear is platitudes and and misnomers after misnomers after misnomers. But here's the thing, though. The whole idea of kicking the man out the household, the Supreme Court in 1968 ruled against that when Ronald Reagan was governor of California, and Nelson Rockefeller are also Republican from the state of New York. So for you to sit there and make that statement, dude, you better try yourself a better argument. You better, if you're going to come after me, dude, you better sit there and understand what the hell I'm talking about and where I'm coming from. Because the thing is, the black manosphere regurgitate talking point that y'all got from somebody 15 years ago. Here is another thing, though, you won't talk about. What actually also kicked the man out the household was a thing called the Nixon ghost shock of 1971. What happened to 1970? Why was it a ghost shock? Well, most black men who was living in the Midwest, who's living in the damn the Midwest, the steel belt, was working in steel mills and automobile in the industry. When Nixon decided, since there are more people coming into the workforce, he decided he put some more fiat money instead of take money off the gold and put it in fiat. That's why, and when that happened, Japan and Germany came online making automobiles, and a lot of black men, a lot of men in general who work for the industries or anywhere connected to those industry became unemployed. In employment, that's why you had a recession and a recession in the 1970s, which you and others don't refuse to talk about. That's why black men was kicked out. That's why some black men was kicked out, quote unquote, because they was economically destituted. And no, I'm not on this pro-black back to Africa bullshit. So you can miss me with that. I'm a Democrat liberal shit. I'm just telling the truth, though. But anyway, when were you going to sit up there and actually bring up some actual talking points about what I'm actually telling you? And yes, Wizard X, it is about globalization. That was a part of the globalization problem. But none of y'all don't want to talk about that issue. Y'all want to blame everything on the black women's and the black women's for all y'all goddamn problems. This is the issues about globalism, and let's talk about what happened between 1978 and 1982. Male education dropped because there was 50-50 between men and women in higher education. But y'all won't touch that either. But anyway, I got 40-something seconds left. I'll let you have it.
All right. Do you want those 41 seconds, Hoodservative?
Please, thank you.
All right. 4:41 on the clock. Timekeeper, please. Hoodservative, you are up. Pull the trigger, sir.
Wow. All right. Well, let's just take it back. Yeah. Thank you for all the ad hominem whatevers. The argument that you just laid out is very much incomplete. In that, how is it that you guys remember the movie Claudine? Like you're right. I don't even need to get all facts and figures about the shit, because I can't believe you're even debating this very well-established point. We have so many cultural touchstones. The movie Claudine was a very popular movie once upon a time in Black America, and a great scene from that movie is when the social worker, that might be the wrong term, but let's just call her a social worker, she comes to the house to check and see if the father was in the house.
Oh, God.
So to act as if this was not a thing, to act as if the Supreme Court squashed it before it became a problem, like bro, no. What are you talking about? And white talking points, again, there's nothing to even make up with white talking points. You have to deal with the fact that the government, our government, that white and black men both contribute to, has bent in a way that basically advances women and disadvantages men. That is the problem. That is the name of the problem. You are being disadvantaged by your government in the name of feminism sometimes in the name of racial equality, depending on, the flavor of the moment, but you're ultimately being disadvantaged by your government here. Now, Black women have no problem being co-opted and used by the government and using the government for their own personal individual goals. When you talk about men being kicked out of the house, not because of government policy, but because of economics, okay, well, let's play that game. If the men got kicked out of the house because they all lost their jobs, who fed the children? Did the women suddenly start working at all the jobs that were left around? Like, no, actual policies and government programs and government strategies were put in place to inject women into the workforce at even greater numbers than they were already. Like, women got injected to the workforce in great numbers for the most part because of World War II and the necessity to actually put bodies in these slots. We need asses in chairs, as they say. Now, that created it opened up, I guess, Pandora's box for putting women into the workforce on the wholesale. But what also happened is you expose women, you give them more and more and more power, whatever, once you get a little bit, you want more. So it created like a snowball effect. By the time you get up to the late 70s era, where it's not just like, one sort of industry, it was like a lot of industries, like the factories in general began to shut down. Once you get to that part of American history, there is no way for women to just kick the men out of the house without having huge government and social interventions. And so the idea that men weren't intentionally forced out of the house, like you kind of alluded to that shit, even by mentioning how men were put out of the house because they were broke. Like, bro, a broke woman doesn't put a broke man out the house without having any money coming in, period. Like, that don't work. Even like, you would rather be broke together. Like as a woman, as a mother, if that's the father of your children and there is no way to make money, there's no reason to put him out the house. But you put him out the house because the situation works better for you with him gone. And that's kind of the situation that even as modern Black men and women, there is no good reason for a lot of women to actually have a man. And I don't even say that with like spite or malice. It's just like the facts of the matter. A lot of women can logically and practically say, I can do this without you. A lot of this shit was created way before, a 20-year-old girl today got here. Like, this is a situation that was started way back when.
All right, that's going to be time. 4 minutes on the clock, timekeeper. This is going to be the final rebuttal round. Brother Big J, you're up, sir. Pull the trigger.
My God, really, you instead of you going to a historical legal position, you're going to use the movie Claudine against me, Big J, Triple X for Texas. You're going to sit there and use the movie Claudine against real government policy that was passed from 1968 up until current times. Get out of here with that. See, that's why the Black manosphere will always going to be the way it is, because the only thing y'all going to do is talk about how awful these stupid ass women are. That's all y'all got to talk about, is how dumb these black women are, rather than helping Black men. That's a problem with CJ, what's his name, CJ King. Instead of talking about, I got me a college degree and I'm gonna talk about Black women. Wait a minute, CJ King, you should be helping your own brothers out. See, the problem with the Black manosphere, I'm talking about the problem with Black manosphere 2.0, Black manosphere 2.0. Y'all problem is this: y'all have a problem with a big booty Brenda in high school, and you can't sit there and accept the fact though she got rid of your niggas back in high school, just like sitting over there talking about them homely girls when Gregory Hines was out there tap dancing to the song Sweet Freedom. Okay, but at this point, here's the thing: the Black man, but you you still did not issue a law a stat or a chart destroying my argument. Only thing you got to do is say platitudes and talk in these repetitive talk about that I heard about the 10,000 times, which is not true. There is something bigger than just the black women went here. It was bigger than this idea of feminism destroying the black community. It was bigger than that. It was globalism. It was economics that destroyed black men. It was the value of the education system that actually destroyed the straight male in society. Because if we gonna go talk about the Democratic Party and welfare programs, well, how come the New Deal and the New Deal of the 1930s and the Fair Deal of the 1940s did not destroy the other communities? Then, if we're gonna go by your logic, because if all these government things were so destructive, why did it just destroy the black community and not everybody else? I mean, according to your argument. So next time you want to argue with me and that goes for anybody, you better bring some facts, some charts, some graphs, some charts, and data to actually refute what I say. Because the thing is, y'all cannot refute you can't refute anything. All I'm hearing is Claudine. That's how unoriginal y'all. Let me say something too. You got 4 white women from the white manosphere that actually done something to take black men out of jail, but the black manosphere had never freed a black man out of jail or over some false rape charge. Because Diana Davidson did it, Carolyn Strong did it. Where are you Negroes that are doing it? Nowhere. I'm done.
All right. Do you want those few little seconds, Hoodservative? I think it was like 20 seconds.
Yeah, not
All
sure.
right. 4 minutes on the clock. Timekeeper. Hoodservative, you are up, sir. Pull the trigger.
Okay, wow, this is amazing. So let's try this. If the man in the house rule was not a significant and widespread impediment to black culture, it would never have been a Supreme Court case to begin with. You do not go to the Supreme Court for petty issues. You don't stub your toe and go to the Supreme Court. You don't break up with your high school boo and wind up in the Supreme Court. So to argue that this is not a huge issue, and then to cite the culmination of this gigantic issue in the highest court in the land of the most powerful nation in the fucking history of the goddamn world is insane to me. And I have no idea how we keep getting stuck on this. Of all the better things we could talk about, we're going to debate on the gravity of something that, by your own admission, made it to the fucking Supreme Court is amazing to me. Also, if you look at the timeline, I was born in 1981. That Supreme Court case is tagged in 1968.
Mm-hmm.
That is about 14 years before I was born. That is barely a child's existence. So, in the decades, in the generation or two that was produced under that era, you think that in a mere part of a child's existence, the culture was erased when everything else in the world was doubling down on the culture? It makes no sense to even stand on this shit. It just doesn't. And to argue that, dude, I'll give you the Karen Strong and they got some guys out of jail. Yeah, you got that. And frankly, I guess we just don't have that much great black female support in the black manosphere. So that whole bit about Karen Strong and them white women getting black men out of jail, well, I'm looking at you, black women. You know, I'm gonna totally matrix that shit. You're gonna have to shoot them with that one.
No, wait a minute. No,
this is my time, brother. Don't respect the clock. Respect the clock. But again,
Do not interrupt. Do not interrupt the other debater.
I believe that is an issue that black women have to deal with. If white women who support the white manosphere in general can actually put their chips in the game and get black men out of jail, like, fuck, I guess there are no white men worthy of getting out of jail. That's a whole nother story. But if they were willing to skip right over the white men to get some black men out of jail, then goddamn, I got no beef with the white women. I would only look at my fellow black women, these feminist bitches, and ask, what the fuck have you hoes done with your freedom? The other week, I was doing a stream, and right before the stream, I discovered some information about a woman who, her family moved out west, her slave-owning family, they owned her as a slave. They took this slave bitch out to California. She sued the government. She sued her family. She went to court to sue for her freedom, sued for her family's freedom, got a job as a nurse and a fucking seamstress, died as a fucking millionaire. This bitch opened schools and hospitals, took care of orphans. What have you bitches done with your freedom? I'm done.
All right, now we are entering the rapid fire round. The rapid fire round, there's no moderator, there's no clock, there's no timekeeper. We left off with brother Hoodservative. So we will begin
still
with Big J. Pull the trigger.
That is still a weak argument. Your argument is weak, is a very weak argument, and it doesn't have no legs because you still did not use data, you still did not use charts, you only use Claudine, a movie that was made in 1974, that was 5 years after, or 5-6 years after the Supreme Court ruling, telling because that was a handful of states that did that. And you didn't even name the states. And let's talk about one thing. About 20 minutes ago or 16 minutes ago, you sit there and stated that these black women out here, right, are out here hang around with the white racist liberals, right, and doing all this shit. But wait a minute. Aren't some of you Negroes on this black manosphere was out of here touting Donald Trump? And also the alt-right parts of what Donald Trump was doing, and the only solution that y'all had was let's kick Big Booty Brenda out the house. Say what?
Are you happy with your choice in Biden? I mean, he was the alternative.
I never said anything about voting for Biden. You said that I did.
But supporting Trump, the alternative was Biden. I mean, there was no other choice there. So, like, what's your point?
No, my point is, though, y'all supported a candidate who was backed by the alt-right. But anyway,
why should black men support?
Here is also another lie. Black
Hold on, before you move on, Big J, before you move on to another subject, let's focus on one subject for a second. Why should black men, as a political matter, right? Why should black men ever be on the side where black feminists land?
I never said black men should be on the side where black feminists. That's your argument, not mine.
Okay, so by not supporting Donald Trump and I guess the Republicans or the conservatives, we are going to be on the Democrat black feminist side of the fence. Why should we do that? If you only have two options, to stand with black feminists or to stand with so-called your white enemy, I would rather fight off the white man than have to fight off the black woman.
Well, let me tell you something.
That's a fair fight, in my opinion. I think it's a fucking underhanded move that we have to actually go out in the world and fight quote unquote racism and then come back to the home, the so-called community, and battle for fucking position and authority with the black woman. That shit is a fucking that's a trap, bro. You don't give those women the fucking power to challenge you.
Hold on. Let me correct.
We cannot give these women the power. Let me go out here and fight right by your measure.
No. You see. You you got to expand your mind up a little bit. Who's service? Because let me explain this. Bresket, well, the community talk on sit there and say something really ridiculous, saying, "Oh, Trump is out of office. Why are you worried about what Trump?" No, because your boy who's on his panel said we black women are out here supporting fucking white racist liberals. So my argument is, wait a minute, how can y'all make that argument when y'all support Donald Trump and people like Stephen Bannon and Stephen what's his face who made racist statements within the Trump administration? Hey, y'all don't want to go there, do y'all?
Yes, let's go there. Let's go.
Why was Steve Cutlow the economic advisor? Hold on. Why was Steve Cutlow the economic advisor to Donald Trump? Was spending his vacations with and Stephen Cutlow's from MSNBC. So that's no liberal. I'm not making no liberal thing. I'm talking about the truth. Why was Steve Cutlow, Trump's economic advisor, were hanging around with the leader of the alt-right during Christmas Thanksgiving?
The alt-right is a fucking boogeyman.
No, it's not. No,
who's the leader of the alt-right?
Then why? Okay, if that was so true, then how come Obsidian had Jared Taylor on his channel saying all that racist shit? It only took Nagom 11 to say it. Y'all want to go there, do y'all? Here's also another thing. No. Here's another thing. No.
You're bringing up a bunch of things. You can't just monologue. We got to actually parse it out.
Hold on. For anybody to sit there and say, I like.
Don't argue with the
I'm just doing what you're doing.
Don't argue with the chat.
I'm only doing what you're doing. I'm only doing what you're doing.
You just mentioned several things. I haven't mentioned anything on my own. I'm responding to you and I'm asking you. During
the whole debate, you was mentioning Claudine. You mentioning movies that has nothing to do with
what's the racist statement Trump was supposed to have said? Why is it not on fucking recording? In this age of technology, why did nobody get Trump on?
Let me name you the states.
Play the tape. Play the tape of Trump being racist. Because you know what? We have actual transcripts that you could submit as evidence in the courtroom. Joe Biden's son calling. He's on the phone with his lawyer. Nick, please, nigga, you better not be charging me Hennessy rates. Your president's son is up here, so he dropping N-bombs left and right. But you worried about fantasy racism, phantom racism. Play the tape.
Really? Play the tape. Why are you
to the Trump
why are you
N-bomb the way Joe Biden was dropping N-bombs left and right?
Why
so you throw in your blackity black feelings about racism?
Wait a minute. Hey, Hood.
Cry about Hennessy race, my nigga. Cry into your Hennessy, nigga. Goddamn.
Hood conservative. How come though I'm calm? Wait. Time out. Hold on. How can I be calm, cool, and collected? And I'm a miss y'all, but yet you have to be all emotional, dude. Why are you being all emotional when I'm being calm?
I'm gonna be theatrical because you're being slow than a motherfucker right now. You're being
no.
You really only watch one news channel.
You use a movie.
Pay for cable. You could. You know what? Just pay your phone bill. Pay your phone bill and watch anything but MSNBC.
A movie to go against a government talking point. I'm supposed to take that seriously. Wait, hold on.
So
I am supposed to take this seriously that you want to use
your president's son right now.
You want to use
your president's son is dropping N-bombs, bro. Can you address that? What are you?
Where have I said anything? Where have I said anything?
Whoa! Did you just give?
Where have I said anything?
That's why Hunter Biden's my nigga. Because even this pussy motherfucker gave Hunter Biden the nigga.
Nowhere in my statement.
What do you mean by ad? What do you mean by
nowhere in my statement?
You care about
nowhere in my statement.
Hunter Biden dropping N-bombs like he's a fucking nigga from the like he's a rapper.
Excuse me. Nowhere in my statement I said anything about supporting Biden. You did that.
Address that. No, you talked about phantom racism in the Trump campaign. Meanwhile,
Address what,
there's
sir?
actual proof. There's actual
Address
proof
what?
that your president's son right now is dropping N-bombs. He's calling Asian bitches yellow, but but it's and right. That's why Hunter Biden is my nigga, because you goofy niggas love him.
And what?
Hunter Biden is my
Because
nigga.
here's the thing.
That's right. And I'm gonna charge you niggas Hennessy rates too.
Well, because first of all, Hunter Biden is not. I'm no supporter of Biden nor Kamala Harris, so I don't know why you keep tagging that on me, because you never find a video about me talking about support Harris or Biden, so you can miss me with that one. Okay, so therefore, let's talk about this.
If you're gonna call Trump racist,
Hunter Biden,
you gotta own the racism that's in the White House right now. Because you wanted the fake racist stuff. Now you gotta address the real racism. Because Joe Biden is documented.
Hunter Biden is not a member of the government.
Joe Biden is documented making racial slurs.
Then why did Bill Carson?
All evidence, dummy.
Then why did Bill Carson kick black people out of HUD? Why did Bill Carson kick people out of HUD in 2018?
A black man
explain that. No. I want you to explain this.
You know why? I'm going to answer you. I will. Ben Carson, right? You know why a black man?
Why did Bill Carson? Bill Carson is part of the Secretary of HUD.
Not Bill Cosby. Not Bill Cosby. Ben Carson.
He kicked black people out the street.
Jesus,
answer that. Answer that. Answer that.
So listen, you know why?
Answer that, sir.
You know why Ben
Carson? Answer that, sir. No.
Why he kicked him out?
No.
You know why he
answer
kicked
that.
him out?
Why did Bill Carson kick out? Wait, hold on.
Why did? That's why.
You in your feelings now. You in your feelings.
Because
you in your feelings.
That's why. Get the fuck
you
off.
In your feelings. You're in your feelings.
No, I'm answering your question.
Get out of your feelings.
Your question. That's legit the answer.
Get out of your feelings, sir.
Why did he
get out of your feelings, sir? I know it hurts.
I know it hurts. Why is that so hard?
I know it hurts. I know it hurts, though.
Why did it hurt to accept the fact that
you feel better after this? But here's the thing.
No. Seriously.
Bill Carson.
Some of you niggas gotta go. And why is that a problem? Why is that a problem? Why is it a problem? Some of you niggas gotta go.
Kick people out of HUD, but then though he spent lavishly in his office.
Why is it a problem that some of you niggas gotta go? Why is it a problem though? Why is it a problem for you? Some of you niggas gotta go. Not all you niggas deserve
gotta go. Oh,
not all you deserve to be here.
What are you gonna do about Hoodservative?
Not all of you deserve to be here. Why is that a problem?
Go then? How are you going to make me go then, nigga?
He's the chief of HUD. I'm pretty sure he made you go. If
he spent lavishly.
If you were on the list. If you were on the list.
He has lavishly spent. He lavishly spent on his office, his dining table. All some of that stuff was spent lavishly on his office rather than serving the people that his department was supposed to be serving. Therefore, sir, Hoodservative, you're lying your ass off because you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Like I said, not only do some of you niggas have to go, he gets to
here's the thing though. If you're going to argue with me, if you I'm going to sound like Dave Rivers Carroll now. I'm going to sound like Uncle Dave. Y'all are not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Y'all not the brightest bulb in the room.
Can't you just address?
And David Carroll's right. David Carroll's right.
He's really mad because he got a nice.
Sorry. He's right about y'all. See,
as hard as it is.
It's big,
man, bro. You're gonna be mad because he got a nice desk.
Big booty Brenda. The problem is you two folks on sex. You ain't focused on policy. See, the problem is I'm more power. You niggas are worried about pussy. That's the problem.
I want to know, are we officially?
Why haven't you during this entire time?
This is the you ain't getting no pussy part of the debate. All right, cool.
How come you never rebut with me? How come y'all never rebutted with a law or a court case or a statute that was passed? You just came at me with the movie Claudine. Now I'm supposed to take you Negroes seriously, and that's the only thing you don't give me a fucking movie that made in 1974 when there was a court case about they ending that in 1968, nigga. There's something wrong with y'all. It's like y'all just stuck on
6 years after you. 6 years
you
after
the
Supreme Court battle.
Y'all
A mere 6 years.
Yeah, come on, man.
It came out only 6 years after the Supreme Court battle.
And why you?
I bet you watched that movie.
Then why you gonna use Claudine?
You watch that movie with your mom, you and her both were sitting next to each other watching it together at one point in time.
When Claudine is historically is not even accurate in 1974.
You watched Claudine with your mom
it was
before.
Historically inaccurate because that was because guess what? Who was governor? Who was governor of those states?
And who did you?
Who was governor of those states that kicked black men out the house? I name them: the state of New York, the state of California, the state of Illinois, the state of let me say, they're about 10 other states. But guess what? The biggest one, Ronald Reagan was governor.
I pray for better enemies
of California during that time. And Nelson Rockefeller was governor of New York at that time when they was kicking men out the house. So that's not, y'all need to blame those Republican governors for doing that, sir. You need to blame them since though y'all claim though y'all are conservative, then blame those conservatives that was kicking men out the house. And let's also talk about the no-fault divorce law, 1967. Wait, who passed no-fault divorce law? Oh, Nelson Rockefeller. Oh, and Ronald Wilson Reagan. Well, that also fucked up the black community.
I'm going to throw you
the black community.
Big J.
You won't go there.
Hold on. Slow down. I'm going to throw you a bone. You are absolutely correct in naming certain Republicans and maybe even conservatives, because conservatives believe in like men being responsible for the family. So it's an easy argument to make that you should be financially responsible for your kids. It's easy to sell conservatives on that idea. You know, Utah just passed a bill recently to have prenatal child support, meaning while she is still pregnant, before you've actually even determined without a doubt who's the father, she can start tagging somebody with a bill. And that's conservative Utah. So yeah. I'm totally on board with you. And that conservatives sometimes, and Republicans in particular, have dropped the ball on that one issue. It doesn't change the fact that that's what happened to the black family, though.
Hold on. Nick Taylor. Ronald Reagan was elected governor in 1966. Come on now. He elected governor in 1966 in the state of California. Come on. Anyway, go ahead. No, wait a minute. No, so by your argument. What argument? No. You said though it took. You said those were conservative states, just like Utah, right? Then why I sit there and say I'm a conservative? How about just being independent minded and being fair across being fair across the middle, rather than waving the conservative flag when those conservatives was doing the black community as well? I'm using y'all's argument. Y'all want to blame the liberals. Y'all always want to blame the liberals, but y'all won't blame the conservatives doing the same destructive shit. So I came here to bring
actually arguing for liberal propositions, and conservatives fail to defend liberalism. So listen, to point out moments where conservatives basically fail to stand up against liberalism is not a fault of conservative ideology. It's a fault of the conservative individuals on the front lines at that moment. But again, the argument that conservatism is the problem is bullshit. Yes, it is. It's a conservative principle that a man should take care of his children. It's not a conservative principle that women should just go off and fuck who they want and live apart from the family and then extract money from the man.
A man should take care of his children.
But that's how conservative people got hoodwinked into moving for these policies, I would argue. And then the argument that conservatism is at fault is totally wrong, because conservatism would apply to women too. Feminism, being independent, is not conservative as far as women are concerned anyway. Conservative for women is not feminist whatsoever. Feminism is liberalism. Feminism is progressivism. Those
Wait a minute.
are firmly on the left.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I got to correct big
All right.
thing.
That's
I got to
time.
correct
That's time. That's time. That's time.
Negro.
We're going into closing statements. We started off this debate with Brother Big J, so we'll be ending it with Brother Hoodservative. 5 minutes on the clock. Hoodservative, you are up, sir. Pull the trigger. Closing statements.
Once again, you know, and I think I made my point well enough that everyone should understand where I'm coming from. But let me just reiterate a couple of things here. The argument that the man in the house rule had no real bearing on Black culture, when we're basically living in the product of that, is just wholly incomprehensible in my opinion. And the argument that, you know, Black feminism or feminism in general, which is firmly on the political left, and I do acknowledge that there are feminists in the Republican Party. There may even be some feminist people in the conservative movement. I will totally acknowledge that. But that just makes them infiltrators and somewhat out of place. But because feminism has always been a product of the ideological left, it's essentially born out of Marxism and socialism. And these concepts are never at home on the right wing side of politics. And I think I'm pretty much going to rest it on this concept that Black men in general, obviously, but Black men in particular, have been far more harmed in the modern era. Like I was starting to say at the beginning of the stream, that Black men and the Black community have been done far greater harm by the feminist agenda than by any racism in the modern era. Like I said, I was born in 1981, only 14 years maybe after this Supreme Court trial that ended the man in the house rule. And that basically, to end the no man in the house rule did not end the wave of female separation from Black men. And we are all basically, you know, if you're basically of a certain age, you know, you're millennial like me or younger, because I think I'm on the tail end of the millennials. But if you're of a certain age or younger, you are very much a product of Black women basically abandoning the nuclear patriarchal family. I started the stream out playing a clip from what was her name, Brittany Cooper. And she said flat out, for Black men to want to be patriarchs is to be white. And you cannot ever find yourself siding with anything women like that have to say. And I'm going to end with that, because my opponent, whether he knows it or not, he is firmly on the side of women like that. And I think we should all pray for him. But I concede the rest of my time. Thanks for listening.
All right. Brother Big J, do you want that 143?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Let me say, woo, because here's the thing.
All right. 6:43 on the clock. Timekeeper.
I want
Brother
y'all
Big
name.
J, you are up. Pull the trigger, sir.
Okay. I'm ready. Here's the thing, though. You still not named not one law. You still not named not one policy. You still not named not one stats against Big J Triple X. You ain't even you haven't even quoted a book. You want to quote a movie. You want to quote what some whacked out feminists say. I don't give a flying fuck what some whacked out feminists say. I care about what's with periodical evidence can lead me to. The problem is y'all like to do talking points. Y'all go by talking points. Let me say something. Never debate me. If we gonna have a serious debate, find me somebody that'll come after me with some books, come after me with some data, come at me with some with some laws, some statutes. Because what the only thing I hear from you, hood conservative, me, you are the same age. Me and you the same age. But the problem is you won't talk about the education system, the failure of the education system, like Susan Hoff Summers wrote in her book War Boys, or like how Dr. Helen A. Smith wrote the book Men on Strike. You won't quote these books. You only got your talking points from niggas on YouTube. It's time for the black manager to grow a fucking brain or two and stop whining about big booty Brenda, because big booty Brenda is making money and you niggas are just talking in circles. That's what you niggas just do all the goddamn time, and that is real talk and that's real truth. I'm out this bitch.
You asked for my extra time so you could do that? That was amazing.
Did he drop off before we voted? Did he drop off before the poll? What the hell, Big J?
Dude, there's like weird. This keeps happening up here. Why?
I don't know, man. Well, that doesn't stop the polls.
Anyway? Yeah,
doesn't stop
anyway.
Doesn't stop the polls. So now we go to the polls. If you believe the Hoodservative won the debate, put an H in the chat. If you believe Brother Big J won the debate, put a J in the chat. Put an H in the chat for the Hoodservative. Put a J in the chat for Big J. Do not vote twice. If you do, my moderators is going to block your black ass. Don't do it.
Why the one J is from the one motherfucker I expected? Oh shit, there's a couple more J's. Oh, I didn't expect that. All right, I see you. Ah, man.
Come on. Vote. Do not vote twice. You shall be blocked if you do.
What does Zero say? New levels of helmetry? Oh God. Ooh. That was rough. And why, Big J, why did you run, bro? Like, come on, man. I wasn't even going to be mean to you or nothing. I was going to try my best to not like insult you too bad and just, have a legit above the board discussion about the facts. But you ran, bro. I feel like, this is that part. If you was on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, he would have played the chicken song. We need some version of that when niggas, because, niggas be quitting every now and then, and that shit ain't cool.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do that because that's been happening a lot up here. Motherfuckers just been leaving up off of here. So I got to get some really embarrassing shit to play when they do it. It's looking like Brother Hoodservative is running away with this. What it's looking like. Yeah, that's what it's looking like. It's looking like the Hoodservative has ran away with it. And I don't believe there's going to be a catch up. So we're going to go ahead and call this for the Hoodservative. We will be calling it for the Hoodservative. Maybe if he had finished up his closing statements, things would have been different. I don't know what you look like on time, Hoodservative. But usually, this is usually the question and answer time. I don't know how much time you got. You got time. You got to go. I mean, what's going on?
I can hang out for a little while. I don't have to get up in the morning. I would love for our good friend Brother D. Durrell to participate a little bit more. That's all we really like to debate, Mr. D. Durrell. I think that would be a little bit more interesting debate because he blocked me off his channel and I haven't been able to comment and participate with all the goofy shit he be posting. Actually, I haven't watched his channel in a while lately, so I don't even know what he's doing. But dude, if you have such harsh criticisms, because I know you were first to hit the J button to vote for the man, and I think you should get on the panel and make your voice heard. We will treat you respectfully up here, bro. I'm not disrespectful. I don't be trying to start fights and kick people in the balls and shit like that. Nah, we can talk it out.
Well, the thing is, it's bias over here and all this kind of nonsense. So, I mean, my audience is my audience. So If you feel like it's unfair or it's biased or it's, slanted or stacked, take it up with the fucking audience. Don't try to take it up with me, motherfucker, because I don't vote. God damn it.
You know what
So
I
if
get about that?
go ahead.
Well, can
Go
I
ahead.
address that? Because I don't get that, especially on a platform like YouTube. And because you don't really, I don't know that you've ever hosted like a debate between some random, like, quote unquote civilian. You host debates between YouTube personalities who have established channels, who are at least established figures in the manosphere. I don't know that everybody that's ever debated has been like a big YouTube name ever, but they're people familiar to at least a certain set of YouTube, a certain subset of YouTube, right? Why, if you're gonna come on this channel and debate anyone on this channel, would you not bring your own audience? So, because
That's what
if you
that's what I
feel
say. That's what I
if you
say.
feel that the earth has been salted and you can't really get any fertile ground here, why not bring your own soil? That doesn't make any sense. And especially if you're one of the bigger YouTube guys who's got like over 20,000 subs, and you feel like you came over to a smaller venue like this and you got I guess there just wasn't enough room for your fans in here. How the fuck does that work? I don't get that shit. I just don't. But that's just me. I'm a crazy nigga on the internet. I could be wrong.
Well, this is my thing, right? If let's assume the deck is stacked. Let's assume that, all these people in here are in one frame of mind or another. Would that bother you if you won? If you won and with a stacked deck, would it bother you? Of course it wouldn't. That only
Right.
bothers you when you lose. So, and not even that, because I've done like, I don't know, 120 of these fucking things. All right. And I've seen people come into here to debate, and the audience hated them when they first came in. But by the end of the debate, they ended up voting for them. And I've seen people come in here that I know my audience can't stand. And guess what? They fucking won. Why? I'll tell you why. They made the better argument. That's it. That's it.
Brother X, I believe this is only my second debate. I was a part of I forget who exactly, but I did get picked up on the debate league. One of the teams, I might have been on BMT school. I really don't know for a fact, but I know I got put on someone's debate team, and I only had one official debate here before tonight, and that was our good friend MOT, and I was impressed at my own showing in that debate, because here's the thing, like you just said, you could very well be walking into a debate or a situation where the odds are against you, and that's kind of how I felt that night, because like I'm like a little new. I'm a new guy, especially back then. I was actually a new guy, and I had like a nothing channel, and I was just an upstart. I'm punching up, and so I was proud of the showing that I had even then, even though ultimately I didn't win the debate. There was a whole little thing, and I came away at that night. I thought I won, and we had to recount, and it turns out the recount had to change the decision.
Yes.
That being said, I was still ultimately impressed with my own showing for one reason alone. I felt like I was going into enemy territory, and I almost won. Like it was like the end of the first Rocky movie. You remember Rocky didn't win the first fight.
Absolutely. And look at this comment here by Brother D. Durrell. Even Brother D. Durrell has to cop to this one. I won before, and I know everyone hates me. And he's telling the truth. I mean, people over here don't really like D. Durrell like that, but guess what? He came in here, he made the better argument, and he fucking won. Prime example right here. All right. I mean, come on, man. You win some, you lose some. There is really no neutral audience, to be honest. There was a time when we didn't even vote. I used to let everybody walk away thinking they won. But once we started the voting, basically, I did it because I wanted the people to decide. Could you convince the people? Could you win the argument with the people? All right. I don't vote. People keep telling me, I've gotten emails saying, oh, you should have a tribunal, you should have this, you should have that. If I bring 3 people up here to be the judges, Negroes will still fucking complain and say it's biased and say it's this and say it's that, because they'll say, oh, the tribunal is wrong. So, I mean, no matter who you get to do the voting, I could bring Jesus in here every night and let Jesus vote, and people will still have a problem with it. So this is how it's going to be. The audience is going to vote on these debates. So when you come in here, know that the audience is going to come in here and freaking debate. All right. Know that that's how it goes. So if you're smart, go ahead, bring your own audience, stack the deck. If you think the deck is stacked over here, stack it yourself. I don't even have a problem with that. Whoever gets the most votes wins, no matter where the from, even if it comes from your channel. Know that. You get on your channel and you say, look, I'm going over to T.P.O.T to debate. I need all my subscribers to come over there so I can win. If you think the deck is stacked, just go ahead and stack it yourself. That's all. But anyway, go ahead, brother Hoodservative.
I think you really got to respect the audience. Like whether or not, because I did notice, and to be fair, to be honest, rather, the debate I just had with Big J Triple X, like, shit, I wish I'd have bought some hard liquor tonight, because like I could have done this shitty drunk. Like, Jesus Christ, this is a very simple argument in my opinion, and I think you kind of have to. You have to actually respect the audience in the sense that don't just come up and say some shit that you feel, but you haven't actually tested out against opponents. You haven't actually tried your ideas out, because that's actually the great thing about debate. But we're doing it up here and it's public, so I don't recommend just coming out with every goofy thing. But you should actually try your ideas out. Like, think your ideas through, bounce them off a wall, debate them with people that don't agree with you, because it doesn't make sense, right, to walk around believing some shit that you can't really explain to everyone else. And if you can explain your ideas to a room full of strangers, or especially a room full of people who don't like you already, and they walk away agreeing with you, even if they still don't like you, but they walk away agreeing with you, then at the very least, you are correct. And the value in that is to know that what you think about the world, how you see the world, how you process the world actually has value. You actually have a productive way of viewing things. Like a big part of the reason why I actually like to engage in debate, and even if it's a little bit tense, and we get some tension, and we might walk away, mad at each other every now and then. I would like for you to remove whatever is in me that is incorrect. As an opponent, as a friend, like, because I argue with my friends and shit about stuff, and it's like, look, prove me wrong, because you and me are friends, right? I can be wrong. I can look stupid in front of you. You my man. Like if I look stupid in front of you, you're not necessarily gonna hold it against me. But don't let me leave this situation. Don't let me leave from in front of you looking stupid in front of the rest of the world. And that's why I value this type of exchange, because it's like, I hope, for the sake of like Big JX, I know I didn't change his mind, but like, bro, I would really hope you reconsider some of the things you think, because I don't think you came off looking as well as you would have liked to look tonight.
I mean, it is what it is, man. Like I said before, a lot of boxers get in the ring, and the fight is called, and they lose. and they come out and be like, "Oh man, I won the fight. I won the fight." Meanwhile, they got a swollen jaw, swollen nose, swollen eye. Their face says different. They say they won, but their face says different. And it's sort of like that, you know. Just because the person you thought won, if you thought a person won and they didn't, it doesn't mean they won just because you say they did. Or if you're a debater and you think you won, but the audience says different, you lost. I mean, let's be honest, man. You lost. You lost. What you do is you gather yourself, you take the L, you move on, and maybe you come back and you get a W at some other time. Because no matter what y'all say, this is how these debates are going to be. The audience is going to be deciding who wins. That's the way we do it here. It's not going to change. You can talk all the shit you want, go back, make videos, do whatever you want. But the next time you come over here to see a debate, the audience will be deciding. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. So if you don't like that, don't debate here. Don't debate here because you already know how it's going to be here. And if you don't think that the audience is going to go your way, even though your points are solid as hell to you in your mind, I suggest you don't debate here because the audience will be deciding who the winner is. That's all. That is
Ed,
all.
You got a super chat question, and before you get to that, I want to actually
Right,
call out a couple of things real quick. My man D-Rock Den, he sent me a $5 cash app a while back during the middle of the debate. I couldn't really break stride to talk about that, but I just want to say thank you, bro.
I need that money.
Aha. Appreciate that, Latin brother Latin I think that's brother Latin Patriot. I don't even know if that's
that is actually a woman. That's somebody.
Oh, damn. Sorry, lady Latin. My bad. I didn't know if it was
about to give a shout out to my camp because somebody else from my squad, one of my frequent listeners, they sent me a $20 cash app and they said, fucking Silent Night, he stabbed himself. Great work.
I need that money.
If you listen to that show a lot, you know that's what I do every time I get a donation. You know, that's our little thing over there in the gulag. We all political dissidents over there.
Oh, well, I might have to start doing that shit too. Well, what I'm going to do is some other shit. What I was thinking about doing is, whenever somebody donate, if they have a channel, what I was going to do is play like a little something from their channel or, a little clip from their channel. I'd have to gather all the shit, but I'd also have to clean out because my damn, this shit is top heavy, man. It's so much shit in here. I have to take some of this crap out. But my bad, lady Latin Patriot. I didn't know you were a girl. My bad. I appreciate the $1.99. She says, T.P.O.T. Tell me who you think won. Nope, I don't vote.
Man, you know, I can respect that. You got to remain neutral in the face of even.
I don't. I've never voted. I've done about 120 of these, and not one time do you see me on there saying this person won, that person won. I let other people vote. I let the people decide. They decide who wins. That's how it goes. Sorry, folks, but that's what it is. I appreciate the $1.99. No, I appreciate that, lady Latin. Anyone else? If you have any questions, because if you don't have any questions, I'm going to let the brother go. I'm not going to hold him here if y'all not going to ask any questions. I'm not going to hold him here for no reason. So if you got him, you better shoot him up. You got about 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I'll hang out if anybody has any questions to ask. I was curious about something else though. Like, is there a particular? Because I know, like when I debated with you before, I think I kind of broached the subject myself. Do you have any subjects that are like near and dear to you that you want to see other people debate?
Believe it or not, brother Hoodservative, usually 90 to 95% of the time, the topics are furnished to me. Somebody writes me, they say, hey, X, I want to debate this person. So I reach out to that person. If they say yes, the debate is on. If they say no, I go back to the person and say, hey, look, they rejected your request. They don't want to debate you. And what often happens is that person challenges someone else. They be like, well, how about XYZ person? So I go to that person. And if they say yes, guess what? The debate is on. I mean, as far as the topics go, like I said, they're usually furnished. You know, they'd be like, oh, I want to debate this person on this topic. I think I've come up with topics maybe like, I don't know, maybe 3 times. And that was in the beginning because when I was putting the debate together, they were like, oh, you know, X, what do you think we should debate? Should we? And even then, I didn't really furnish it because they gave me like 3 or 4 topics. And I said, well, maybe y'all can debate this. You know, I kind of did a eeny, meeny, miny, mo type of thing. I let the folks come up with it, man. You know, I pretty much stay out of it. You know, I just have the arena. You know, I just own the arena, you know, and I let people come in and duke it out. I don't have anything to do with it. That's why when the debate got turned towards me the other week, I'm like, wait a minute, man. You know, I've never had the debate turned towards me because anyone who's been watching these debates and following these debates, they know I don't vote. I don't pick the topics. All I do is kind of put the event together, host it. That's it. I don't get involved. I don't interject. I don't do any of that shit. I mean, you can go watch all 120 of them and you'll see me doing the same shit I do every night. 5 minutes on the clock, pull the trigger. 10 minutes on the clock, pull the trigger. And explain the rules. Explain the rules. That's it. That's pretty much it, man. That's my role.
I will say this. Samantha P, she put a comment in the chat a second ago. She says, this is y'all space, so you guys have the advantage. Let's be real. And technically, she would be correct if you were debating let's say an outsider, so to speak, like somebody who's not really manosphere, or like I was on the breakdown, and I listen to the breakdown every now and then, and they had this guy on there. I think his name's Paco, and he's like a male feminist. And he stands on the shit. I think he's selling a book and all of that. Like a guy like that, Paco could never come over to this channel and win a debate, almost hands down, because the type of things he would want to debate would get you laughed out of the space. However, though, within the manosphere, there have been actual debates that you couldn't necessarily judge going in. Like it's easy to say like a guy like Paco can't really debate a manosphere guy. Feminist issues, but they like Bernard O'Reilly and SKC came up here the other week and they debated like evolution. Like seriously, how can you prejudge that type of shit in the manosphere context? Like
exactly.
So I would totally give her that. I would give her that in the sense that an outsider like a feminist will lose. But if you're arguing actual subjects, especially with guys who are relatively like say you got 2 popular figures, because I know it does have a popularity contest element to it.
Yes.
You have 2 relatively popular guys who are debating something that's kind of neutral, that's not like manosphere topic shit, then you couldn't get a debate, because I've heard very like good debates here. So I don't know it's so much of an audience thing. I think we're just pulling that out of somebody's grievance. Like the history of this show is been generally square up like debates about issues.
Yeah. Well, it's like an election. I mean, you know, some people like this person, some people like the other person. Some people are going to vote for this person no matter what. Some people are going to vote against this person no matter what. I mean, that's kind of how it goes. You know, but as far as this being our space, a lot of the debates that have taken place in here have taken place between guys that are within the space. Some of the more popular guys in this space have debated. You know, the Obsidians, the Ramil Amirs, the Fantastics, they've all debated here. And at times they've debated each other. It's not even like they're debating people who are like, you know, unknown and you never heard of them. I mean, there is a Brother Ramil versus a Brother Fantastic debate here. There is a Brother Obsidian versus Brother Fantastic debate here. I mean, there is, there's many debates between many people. There is the little Big Nate. Big Nate has debated people here. SKC has debated people here. All right. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, Jay Shine has debated people here. Trey, the NBD, has debated people here. So it's not like these are just these bunch of unknown people, from nowhere. No, that's not true. Most of the guys who debate they are people from within this space, and they're usually debating each other. Remember, this was a league, okay? This is
I
a
was gonna
league
ask you about
with
that.
six different teams. All the teams, the people were picked from this space. All the men were picked from this space. We had a real live draft where captains came and picked folks. That
Right,
really
look,
happened here.
BMT just popped in the chat. He's got the third most wins. Like there was a robust debate circuit at one point.
Damn right it was. And it lasted for like a whole year. A whole year of people debating teams. We even had double debates when you had 2-on-2. All right. You had two men
You
against
did. I
another two
forgot
men.
about that shit.
We've had
For
those
a while.
too.
And you know what's so dope about that? Because I think this is kind of like unique in Black America. I don't know that we have a culture of like a debate society in Black America. Like you may have like I can sit with a couple of like one or two friends that I know that I can actually just debate random political shit with, and it won't like turn into a thing. But I don't know that we have that on the whole in Black America, and I think that is healthy because we need to learn how to actually like talk about shit without going to blows with one another, and then to also it's actually practice. You have to learn how to like roll ideas around in your head and be agile in the moment and spit something back to another person, to counter whatever crazy shit they just came up with in the moment. Like that is good for everyone involved.
Yes, man. I've even had female debates up here. I've had female debates up here. So it's like, that's why when people, try to be, oh man, this platform, man, shut the fuck up, man. I done probably got more debates in than anybody else on YouTube. And I probably had a more vibrant mixture of people and guests and combatants than anybody on YouTube. I mean, many people, some of your most notable people have debated on this channel. All right. Females and males. I mean, one night, it was Jessica X, Lady Jessica, Brother Supreme versus Gabe A and Brother BMT. I've had those kind of debates here. I've had girls come up here and do challenges like you did tonight, and brothers have come up and debate them. J.I. has debated on this channel many times. Many times. You know what he likes to debate,
that's actually a great segue too for a second, because that's another reason why this is valuable. Take away the element of the manosphere, but ideas like serious ideas that can that will at least have the potential to move the community forward will inevitably pop up if we continue to have this back and forth. Like I know I have a ton of people that I have gotten into it with a bunch of times, and it's absolutely not personal whatsoever. My hope is that somehow or another some better ideas, maybe ideas that neither one of us have had up to date, will come forth of this sort of shit, because like you don't really get new ideas if everybody's just off in their own corner not saying shit to no one. Like you need people to come out and not only have a new idea, but be willing to stand on the public square and defend that shit. So when somebody like J.I. comes up with some shit like financial abortion, and then he comes up and he's willing to defend the merits of it and argue the ins and outs and the ups and downs, like, well, you don't know that 25 years from now, we may be having these debates in a government setting, in a congressional setting, and it could have started right here. Like that is the type of shit that we have to engage in. And frankly, if you care at all about all this pro-blackity thought, that is the way to actually, move the culture forward, is to actually, begin to discuss some new things and not get caught up in the old shit. Have new arguments. We can't keep having the same arguments our grandfathers had. Like they won those arguments. Let's go on and have new shit.
Absolutely, man. I mean, those of you who may be new to this channel, and if you are, hit that damn subscribe button. But those of you who are new to this channel, this is what I suggest you do. Go into the catalog of the Prophet of Thought series, because that's what this is. This is the Prophet of Thought series. I know everybody like to call me T.P.O.T, but T.P.O.T ain't my fucking name. My name is Xavier. T.P.O.T is the name of the platform. It's called the Prophet of Thought series. There's about 16 different series on here. Go into the League series and also go into the T.P.O.T debate series. Go into the Hours of Power series. You will find so many different types of debates in there. So many. Because like I said, we've done like 120, if not more. All right, we've done like 120. So go into the catalog, go into those debate series. Like I said, go into the League series, because that's where all the brothers threw down at, all the people who are quote unquote, in the space where they all throw down at. Then go into the Hours of Power series. You'll find the Hour of Power debates in there. Then you go to the T.P.O.T debates, and you will find more debates in there. And once you've watched a couple of them, you will see that we've always did it this way. It's always been this way. The format has not changed. All right. It has not changed. This is how we started them, and this is how they're going to go. Now, in the beginning, we didn't have it. We were flying the plane while we were building it. But after about the third or fourth one, we had a system. All right. I actually used to have celebrity timekeepers. Every time I did a debate, I had a new timekeeper. But eventually, Brother KIT became the official timekeeper of the T.P.O.T debates. Those are like the only changes to be noted. I mean, we've always done them this way. So when people come in here, and even the people who watch them, even someone like Brother Big J, he be in my chat room. He knows how these fucking debates work. It's not like he's never seen these debates before. He knows exactly how they work. So I say again, if you have any questions, compliments, or complaints, I suggest you save them until after you've went into the catalog and watched a few of them, so you can get a better understanding of what's going on. All right. And like I said, man, what's good, OGJ Speed? Another person who has debated here. I've had the OGs have debated here. The young folks have debated here. The females have debated here. People in this space have debated here. People out of this space have debated here. So, I mean, I say again, go look at the catalog and then come back and tell me what you think. Hit me up with an email. That's all. Hit me up with an email. It's all good. Don't worry, I won't chop your head off as long as you don't say nothing stupid. All right? But I don't think we're going to get any more questions for Brother Hoodservative, so we're going to go ahead and close it out. Brother KIT, once again, man, I appreciate you, my brother, for coming through on the late night tip for this here debate. As always.
No problem. I got you,
man.
T.P.O.T.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate you, brother.
Out the blue. I don't even think you were scheduled today. I appreciate you coming through.
Yeah, no problem. All right,
My
y'all
brother,
have a good
man, I
night.
appreciate it. Peace, man.
Peace.
Yeah, y'all get on down there, man, and check out my brother, KIT, Keep It Techie, the official timekeeper of the T.P.O.T debates. Check him out. Keep It Techie on YouTube, and also check him out on keepittechie.com. Negroes. Any final words before we blaze up out of here, brother Hoodservative?
Yeah, I guess gotta plug my channels basically.
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
working on a slightly new venture. I got a whole new channel since the last time I've been up here. It's been a while, I think, since I've really been on this panel. But I started up a second channel, a backup channel, because my main channel, the Hoodservative Culture and Politics Review, I talk reckless and I do reckless content and I make reckless videos. And so I have gotten the second strike already. And I don't know, there's a time limit for how long the strikes like stay on your record. But if you get a third within that time span, you're pretty much done forever. And so I saw this coming and I started up a second channel. So if you just type into your YouTube search, American Dystopia, you can probably pull up my second channel pretty easily. And I do relatively political comment and commentary, rather. I do political content rather and commentary. And if you want to get an alternative view of the mainstream, if you want to get a black male conservative perspective, and I think we're starting to build up a nice little wing, a cadre of black male conservative views. Shout out to Lil Big Nate. I like to see that his channel is growing and becoming a force in the black manosphere.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think we need to grow the alternative vision and the counter narrative for not just male female gender relations like the way the manosphere sort of came into being, but for politics and culture in general. And so I think we would all be doing ourselves a favor to take in some broader messages. And so I think my channel helps to do that and to just give a different point of view about what's going on and what's happening, not just in Black America, but in America at large, because we're not just, Black people. We're Black Americans. We can't be African anymore. And so I think we got to pay attention to what's going on in the country as a whole. So please do me a favor and tune into my new channel, American Dystopia. And brother Xavier, I appreciate you for opening the floor to me and allowing me to come up here and talk a little crazy every now and then and take on all comers. And shout out to Big JX for coming, taking the floor. I know we might have threw a little jabs at one another here and there, but it was overwhelmingly an awesome debate. And I thank you for everyone that voted for me tonight.
All right, man. Appreciate it, brother Hoodservative. Peace. And shout out to my brother Big Nate. I'm surprised he's still up. Burning the midnight oil with old X tonight, ain't you, Big Nate? My brother. I'm surprised brother Big Nate is up in here, because I know this past his bedtime. And speaking of brother Big Nate, you need to get on down there and check him out. As always, you heard the voice. You know the name. You've waited long enough. Little Big Nate has arrived, and it's on. Let's go. Yeah, get on down there and check out my man Big Nate. His channel's doing good down there. Y'all know, man. Brother Big Nate is like he's got this voice, man, that is out of this world. He kind of reminds me of my grandfather, the bishop. He's got that fire and brimstone, that like that old style preacher. He's got that old timey preacher thing going on, with a lot of curses and profanity, slapped in there. Y'all get on down there, man, and check out my brother, man, little Big Nate, man, because he be throwing down there. Yeah, y'all gotta go down there and check out brother Big Nate. And damn it, his goddamn thumbnails, man, are out of this damn world. I think he's leading the charge with the thumbnails, man. Brother Big Nate thumbnails is off the hook, man. So get on down there, man, and check out my brother freaking little Big Nate, man, on a little Big Nate show. And every now and then you might catch X ass down there from time to time talking shit. You know, you might just catch me down there talking shit too. We're gonna get out of here, but before we do, you know I gotta hit you in the head with T.P.O.T's programming notes. Yeah, because next week I haven't put any thumbnails up yet because my ass lazy, but I'll probably do that tomorrow. Wednesday night, Game Changer will be here. Let me turn on my damn camera. Wednesday night, Brother Game Changer will be in the house, and we'll be throwing down, you know. I'm kind of fooling around with a title. I haven't really come up with it yet. It's going to be something to the effect of, you know, changing the game with Game Changer, you know, something like that. Yeah, Brother Game Changer will be here 9:30 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be Wednesday night. He'll be in the house, and then the following day, we're going to have a special Ask the Doc on the Ask the Doc series, and Brother Doc Phoenix will be here, and Lady Shonda will be here, and they're going to be doing a presentation, and what they're going to be talking about, medical careers, how to get into the medical field, what qualifications you need, what type of schooling, education you need, what type of jobs are out there, what type of careers are out there, which ones are the easiest to get into. They're going to be talking about the ones that are a little more difficult. So make sure you hear, man, because they're going to be talking some STEM stuff, and they're going to be showing you what you need to do to get into the medical career. So if you're a person who's interested in getting into STEM or into any other type of medical field, you might want to be here Thursday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, because I'm going to have a couple medical professionals in here, and they're going to be giving you the step-by-step to let you know what you need to do, where you need to go, what type of schooling you need, you know, et cetera, et cetera. All right? So make sure you're here for a special Ask the Doc series Thursday night. And once again, Brother Game Changer will be here Wednesday night. We'll be chopping it up, and that's going to be crazy because, believe it or not, Game Changer is actually pretty funny. If you listen to some of his stuff, he's actually pretty funny. So, you know, come here Wednesday night, man. Check out Brother Game Changer, man. He'll be up here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page, throwing down with old X. All right. All right. So we're going to get up out of here. I appreciate everybody coming through tonight. Good shit tonight, folks. As always, we did another double header. That's 2 double headers in 2 weeks, man. That's crazy. I ain't doing this shit no more, y'all. Y'all lucky I ain't got to work tomorrow, goddammit. But yeah, that's 2 double headers in 2 weeks, man. You know, back to backs, man. Back to backs. And it's crazy because last week when I did a double header, it kind of ended the same way this one did. You know, somebody just left. It is what it is, man. You know, if you want to debate, man, or you want to see a debate, or you got someone who wants to debate, you know what it is, man. You hit me with an email. It's properthought@yahoo.com. That's properthought, one word, no caps, at yahoo.com. Y'all know how it goes. You hit me with a request, I'll put the debate up. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you have 5 subscribers or 500,000 subscribers. It doesn't really matter to me. If you want to come up here and debate and you have an opponent and I can get you and that opponent together, we will throw down. All right? We will do it. It's up to you. It's up to you. I don't care who you are. Many people have debated on this channel. Everybody from really, really small YouTubers to really, really big YouTubers have been here. People you know and are familiar with have debated here. And likewise, people you don't know have came here and debated. So if you want to come through and debate, go ahead and hit me my email and I will set it up for you. All right. All right. So Another shout out to brother Big J, also to my boy brother SKC, and another shout out to brother KIT, the official timekeeper of the T.P.O.T debates, and also the guest of honor, brother Hoodservative. Get on down there and check him out as well. Good shit tonight, folks. So with that, I will leave you good folks with 3 words, you know, like I always do. Open your minds.
Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power.
And so a community is where you control your police, you control your commerce, you control your education, you control your house. We don't control none of that. We live in a hood. Huh? Well, what about the Negroes that get out? Oh, well, see, my cousin, they say he's a multi-millionaire, almost got $1 billion. 3 PhDs, working on 2 more. Driving down the street in Chicago in his Rolls Royce, enjoying himself, and he hears these sirens and looks through the mirror and sees this cop car flashing lights. He squeezed the steering wheel, man. Heart beats fast. Because he knows the price of a Negro, what it could be. And then when that cop car passed him by, he said, thank God he wasn't after you in the first place, punk. That Negro thing you can't get away from. It's universal. They wasn't coming after you with all your millions, with your Rolls Royce, with your PhD, didn't help. That's the hood. Why do you think you never pick up the paper until you read over and over and see white families? You think it's thousands of black cops in America. Why don't you see white families crying as black cops shot my loved one 42 times in the back of the head? Why do you think black cops are that? You think they're more spiritual? Think they're better? No! They got enough sense to know that white folks ain't gonna tolerate it. And I will stop in our neighborhood when we decide we will not tolerate it. Now, if we was organized, which is hard to organize people who are just gonna run crazy and you don't know you're crazy. But if we were, with the money we have, and the many people who would come to our aid that don't know what it's like to be a Negro, and we said, if we said, look, we saying, if we don't get a federal law to deal with police brutality, that anytime a cop or anybody carry a gun, have to have a license just like you used to drive a car. And if you use it wrongly, you'll lose your license. And if it's upheld, you can never work again as a cop or a store guard or a private detective. How do you get Congress to push that through? Well, you take your economic power and you call on your friends, black, white, young and old, and say, this coming Christmas, if we don't have a federal law to outlaw police brutality by law, then we call them for a nationwide boycott of Christmas and it start on Thanksgiving. Well, let me tell you what that means. 79% of all retail in America happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas. People stay in business all year, lose money just for Christmas, huh? Well, what happens now? Flagstaff Avenue, Toys R Us, Sears and Roebuck, Westinghouse. They will get the bill and all they got to do is make one phone call and say, Harry, that's the senator, I want that bill pushed through in 3 days. Okay, it's an economic thing. It's that simple. But we have the power, but the system has wiped us out so bad.
of power, hours of power, hours of power.
Van Tanner, Lincoln 6. Go ahead. Clear suspect down, 10-4. That's 10-4. The officer's code 4. We have one suspect that's been shot.
Open your mind. Your mind.
Only from T.P.O.T. Media. Open your mind.